to the uh, masterclass, N18 masterclass. Look what I've got. Marcel, the N18 ambassador, gave it to me last time when I was co-hosting his workshop. We had an amazing time doing this co-hosting. I will start in just a minute and also share some insights on what to do. So let's start by sharing a small note with our dear friends on LinkedIn. Join me now live for N18 live master class for the next 3 hours from this link, or from, let's double check if the YouTube live is already running, and then we will start. Yes, the live is running. Let's go take this URL and post it. All right, so we have a pretty packed session. What I would like to do is take you guys one step at a time. The very first thing I would like you guys to do is please go ahead and join this link, or scan this link. I'm going to also provide this link underneath the chat window of this so that you guys can... Hi everyone, hi Siddharth, hi MJ, Carbon, Mikhail, and so on. So let me see if this thing is running. Vibe stage, is it the Vibe stage? Well, I'm gonna just do it with this alias I have. And then what I'm gonna do is, so this is basically a simple web application that you guys can use. I'm gonna explain what it does in just a second here. When you open it from your phone, it should look something like this. If you send me these emojis from your side, there we go. You guys are sending it already, I think. Thank you so much. So I see these emojis on my screen. This is a new version of this software that I'm building. I'm also vibe coding this software. This is basically called Vibe Stage. Now it has an ask a question. Thank you, whoever sent that. Thank you. So you guys can ask a question, something like, what is N8N? Or maybe, is it N8N or N8N? And then if you submit this question, I receive these little hands on my screen, and then I know that, oh, there is a question going on. And then wherever I am, like I'm explaining some code or something, and then I see that, and then I go here, and then I see that, oh, there is a question, dummy question. So I'm gonna bring, or maybe this question, I will bring and sort it out, and then we will go on and tackle the questions there. Time to time, I will come to the, coming to that, just a minute, let me clean up. Time to time, I will come and answer, keep an eye on the, how is it called? So here on the chat, so that I can also send you guys something. But for now, just as a kind of like logistics, that's the thing. Like you go to vibestage.emilsayo.com, you can share your vibes. Cool, I like this color. Let's start then. Alrighty, so I'm gonna keep myself here away from you. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you. I really love the passion, and look at that. That's so nice. 49 people. I love it. I really, really, really like this. And I hope it's gonna keep working, this like life, 100% lifestyle. Lifestyle, not lifestyle. What I want to say is like, you will know it during the next 3 hours. I'm doing something crazy. I'm going to go 2 days live like this, but locking myself here in my son's bedroom might be boring. I'm thinking about like getting like an inner circle of like 5 people or maybe 10 people in a room. Why? Because the next thing that's happening is going crazy as well. So everything we're doing since the past 2-3 months is going crazy. You'll just get to know a little bit more. Look at that number that's happening right now. Super cool, super nice. Thank you so much, everyone. Which actually reminds me, if I can go quickly here and quickly leave message here. Join us now live, so that if somebody wants to join, so that they have less friction. So what I want to show you guys was this, that the next, not this one, this is also in person. It's only a masterclass at part 2. We will talk about that in a minute. But this one is going crazy. Look at that. 288. That's amazing. Yes, there are questions. Let me check the question. Okay, these are dummy questions. Okay. I'm going to keep cleaning it up so that I don't miss the actual questions. So there, in this 288 people, let's say I will be expecting 100 people there live. So therefore, I'm sure we're gonna have a lot of fun on 26th and 27th of July. I hope that I'm not gonna turn off that thing because, oh, nice. So there are, when you use instead of, okay, I will then stop looking at the questions right now. Please keep pushing your questions there. I'll come to the question and answer in just a minute. Oh, that's a lot of questions coming. 53 people. Okay, thank you so much, everyone. Let's get started. Henrik, I can see you there. Hi. Alrighty, so we're gonna start now officially. So you guys are onboarded. For those of you who just joined, please scan that QR code or go to this URL in order to share vibes with me. Please make sure that you don't abuse the question feature of this thing. If you post too many dummy questions or same questions, then it will be a little bit annoying for others. And you can send me these emojis from here so that I can see if I'm doing it right or wrong. Other than that, let me tell you guys what are we going to build. We're going to build a lot of n8n workflows. We're going to build a lot of voice AI agent things. And before we start, let me tell you a few sentences about myself. I'm a software engineer. I've been building software for the past 23 years. I speak 5 languages, 5 human languages, 20 plus computer languages. But with vibe coding, I think I speak unlimited languages. And I'm also so much a management guy. I have been building companies. You can see these are all the companies I've built in the past 17 years. And since January 2025, I'm going all in on emilsai.com, personal branding, and doing this YouTube channel. And throughout these years, I work with these big companies like Klarna, Siemens, Allianz, and co. And as a part of this $300 million scale up, I made some profits. I was one of the early hires. I brought all my earnings into this beautiful company called VoiceKit. It's a startup, a voice AI agent that I built with my co-founder in 2023. We were kind of bringing this science fiction of, oh my God, I get emotional when I talk about this. So it's the talking car. It's a voice AI agent, or that Samantha of 2013, and we are all over the hypes of this voice AI agent that has access to your tools, and yet there is like no AI agent concept, and we're building it. My co-founder Alex and I are building it, going everywhere, and unfortunately this startup doesn't go anywhere. But what I see is like I stumble upon this beautiful piece of software called n8n, and I started building workflows and tweaking things around, and that kind of like brought me here. It's okay, I'm kind of liquidated the company, it's okay, but I'm now becoming this founder who is becoming an educator and doing these workshops for free. Hopefully I'll keep it for free for as long as I can. There is some news about that you'll see in a minute. And I'm doing it on a regular basis. It started on 15th of March, where we built a voice AI agent. This thing called Samantha got a talking and a Google Docs access, and then it continued. On 17th of May, we had the next part, Gmail inbox and vibe coding. And then on 21st of June, literally 7 days ago, we had another session of this in person and online where we added search and perplexity. And this fourth part is going to happen on 26th and 27th of July. So that is 2 days actually, 26th and 27th of July, the part 4. It's in a special edition, and this time we are going to go and do it with a mini LinkedIn CRM, a voice CRM. And that's the QR code, and this is the link for joining the next version. It's going to be an extremely detailed session. This one is going to be super detailed. Why? Because it's going to be for 2 days, and also it's going to be super hands-on, and we'll build a full-fledged CRM, front-end, Next.js, Supabase, vibe coding, cursor, and so on. And back-end, it will be 100% NA10 workflows. Alrighty, so other than that, we are good to go. I really like this logo. Let's keep it like that, just for the nice ambience. Alrighty, so what we do is you can scan this QR code, or I will send you this info sheet link so that you guys can get access to whatever I'm sharing. I'm going to move this very soon to a link, something like emilsauer.com/workshops, so that you get this info sheet as soon as possible. And 21st, I'm in the wrong slide deck, but it's almost the same. It has to be this one, because I have some more slides coming. Here. This is a slide I have to talk about as well. This particular one that you're currently looking at is in cooperation with Voice AI Bootcamp. Enric and Jens are doing this. Thank you so much for the push and for letting me share these insights with your community. I really love the community spirit. If you want to know more about Voice AI Bootcamp, you can scan that QR code. And I've been doing this before, like another masterclass a couple of weeks ago. And I hope I will be doing more of this in coming weeks and months. All right, so what I wanted to show you guys a few more sentences, and then I'm done, and then we do hands-on, just literally 2-3 more slides, and then we're good to go. So we are building basically Samantha, and we're building a voice AI agent that is kind of like evolving over time, every month, every masterclass. And I'm literally now in the process of hiring someone who will take care of this very closely with me. And also, I'm putting together WhatsApp group where we will build the brain of Samantha. That means like we'll have a lot of workflows, NA10 workflows that will go open source on a GitHub repository, and then she'll become like as enlightened as possible, so that she can do a lot more things. So these are some pictures. What I do usually in my workshops is like I go the long mile, the extra mile, and I build really detailed tutorials. So you can find all of these tutorials already on my YouTube channel, and I also do the recordings with multi-cameras, in the in-person ones, so you can find them already. This is another tutorial, and we take a lot of pictures from the in-person and share it online so that you can get some vibes of what's happening in Berlin. And hopefully, if you're someone who is in Berlin and you want to, or you want to visit Berlin, in August we will have another one in person, but in July we're going to have it 100% online. So that being said, I have a few small announcements, and then we start. There is on 7th of July, we're going to do something amazing. There was a part 1. You can watch it here. I will share the links to you guys here. In part 1, what we did was we basically created a workflow, a full-fledged 2-3 hours of workflow. I literally explain everything, how you do it, so you can watch this. If you want to join part 2 is happening in person again. This was also in person, so there were a lot of people. This at the time, this software that I'm going to show you guys, maybe if needed, was not multicam, so you will see way more vibes than this one. And the part 2 is happening on 7th of July if you're based in Berlin, so you can join us. This is the link for that. And I have 2 more announcements. I will keep it at the end, only if it makes sense you can join. There is one more announcement here that I'm going to keep it to the end, which is, let me see. Should I do it now? Let's do it now, actually, because then you don't need to wait what was it and wait for that. So I'm starting my first cohort. The first, you can apply through that link. And also, I'm going to share this here. So basically, what is this cohort? With this cohort, we go for 1 month of intensive training. I'm going to share everything I know about voice AI agents, about agentic workflows, and I'm a super intensive, deep into this topic, someone who's deep into this topic, so I will share everything. We'll have a full day kickoff day. There will be weekly reviews for 90 minutes. And the cohort size is limited to only 10 people. Every month I'll do a new cohort. And there will be unlimited access to me personally on a WhatsApp group. But it is with that asterisk. So you need to kind of like make sure that you don't abuse that unlimited access. That means you will not ask obvious questions that you can ask from LLM, and also make sure that it's a win-win situation for both of us, because I also pay bills. As they say in German, I also buy Kartoffel. So it's fully online. It's accessible from anywhere in the world. If you're anywhere with an internet connection, you should be able to join. And it will only cost you $200 for the entire month. I'm feeling like so bad sharing numbers of sales and things in the start, therefore I thought to share it at the end. I feel so bad. Sorry about that. But just an opportunity, if you want to join, that's the link, you can join. Anyways, let's go to real deal. What we're gonna do, I'm gonna put an Excalibur here on Maximize. I'm gonna share this Excalibur with you guys when the session is over. So right now we have like around 2 hours and 22 minutes, which brings me to another vibe coded project that I have done. Timer on screen. So we will see a timer on my screen so that I do not divert too much. So we have something around, how many minutes is that? 30, 40. So 40 minutes, 2 hours and 40 minutes, 120, 180 minutes. So we have 180 minutes left for 3 hours. Well, let's start 3 hours from now. I can go a little bit extra. So when this is basically our timer. We'll keep an eye on this timer as and when we go back and forth, so that we know how many minutes we have left. So Sorry about all these 19 minutes of kind of like sales. We don't count that, so the 3 hours starts from now. And time to time we'll come to this. I hope there was no private information shared here. Let me quickly do this. Stop screen sharing. I need to tidy up my screen. I just forgot to do that before starting, and then we start everything as we go. Alrighty, so I think that is good to go. I'm gonna reshare my screen in just a minute. Time flies. 20 minutes gone. I thought it was 2 minutes. So I will keep coming back and forth to our live session, which is this one, and make sure that we are live. And this will be a little bit interrupted. I don't have an assistant today with me. Okay, all good. The voice is good. Everything is good. All right. So the first thing we'll do is we'll have quick walkthrough of VAPI. What is VAPI? We build a voice AI agent that talks to us, and then we'll go to N8N and we'll build a whole lot of workflows in N8N. And Excalidraw will be our drawing pad. We'll do a lot of concepts and drawings in here. So let's start from VAPI. When you sign up, since it's a masterclass, it's not hands-on, so it's kind of like in one go we go and see it in person, and I try to be a little bit faster so it can be utilized later on as a tutorial, so that you can pause your video and then you go on and do it. So I would recommend, if you're not right now following it along, you can just keep watching it so that you can kind of like get your brain around what is there, because I'm going to go fast, and then later on you can try it out when you wish to. All right, so then you build assistants, and then you can create a new assistant from here. I call my assistant Samantha, but you can name it anything. Click on Create Assistant, and then you have quite a few tabs here: model, voice, transcriber, tools, analysis, and so on. In the model, you can choose the provider. If you open the provider dropdown, you can see that there are like all the providers out there that you can think of, the LLM providers basically. And when you pick one provider, you can pick their corresponding models. Now, this is a greeting message, or kind of like what should be the first thing that the voice AI agent should do. Should speak first, should wait for the user, and blah blah. I wanted to speak first, and I wanted to greet me. So, hi, Emil, how's it going? And this is the system prompt, basically. The system prompt could be that you are a helpful assistant. We'll come back to this and talk about this a little bit more. So we're going to publish this. And if I talk to Samantha now, to this voice AI agent, you can... Good. How are you? Good. I'm giving a masterclass about voice AI agents. What do you think about that? So basically what we just saw literally by 2-3 clicks is something that my team and I at VoiceKit spent a lot of time doing it. What you saw is a product of quite a few steps happening, which I would like to explain on this whiteboard. What happens is, the very first thing that happens is, let's say let me think. Okay, let's say if you are a human is talking, that human voice or the human voice or the microphone voice is transcribed, and that transcription happens through a piece of software called ASR, Automatic Speech Recognition. And then there is a step in LLM that transcript or that transcription of your voice is given to an LLM, and then the LLM response comes back to a so-called TTS, text-to-speech, and then that text-to-speech is played back to this human voice. So that loop that you saw, this is basically a text provided back from LLM to the TTS, and then from the TTS, a voice goes back. So it's a voice coming out of a human or maybe another AI agent. I'll just call it voice so that it's could be another box like this. So the voice can be another agent or a human talking, and this voice is sent to an ASR. That ASR is converted to text, a transcript, that is given to an LLM, and then an LLM takes that text, gives it to a TTS, a text-to-speech, and then the text-to-speech it converts the text into voice, and then it goes back to that human or agent. In this loop that you have seen, like literally from here to here to here to here to here, this entire loop keeps going on and on and on as we talk to this voice AI agent. And when we were building VoiceKit, it took us like, I don't know, the starting version was 9 seconds latency, and it took us like 6 months of R&D to get this to 500 milliseconds. And that was a lot of work. Now, in order for us to get such an experience, we can go somewhere on Vappy, and there are like dozens of these services out there. Like ElevenLabs is one of the best ones out there, a Polish company, which I will be covering a lot about ElevenLabs in my next workshops, and a bunch of others. Like LiveKit is another one, an open source alternative. And there are like a lot of them. And we even VoiceKit wanted to become one. Unfortunately, we had to liquidate our company due to lack of funding. But nevertheless, now exactly this loop that took us 6 months to build, you can get it in 6 minutes like this, as you guys just saw earlier. Now, this is the model. This is where you pick the LLM. This is the ASR, the automatic speech recognition. This is where you pick the provider of the ASR, automatic speech recognition. I like Deepgram's Aura 2 Elena. It sounds more like Samantha from 2013. But I'm waiting for, please guys let me know if you saw it first, that this dude's ElevenLabs' V3, I think, the ultra-realistic voice cloning and the ultra-realistic voices is available. And then I can actually start doing some really cool things. I'm already using on my voice AI agent here, ElevenLabs. You can talk to it. It is my voice clone, but the latest models of ElevenLabs is mind-blowing. I'm waiting for that to be integrated in Vappy so that I can go on and show it to my my workshops. All right, so we have 2 hours and 52 minutes left. That's a timer for us to keep an eye on. And now if we talk quickly, check and see what's going on. Good, good, thank you. So our voice AI agent is running. Just a small quick tick check. If the voice AI agent is working, you guys can hear the voice AI agents. Uh, okay, so you guys can't hear. That's fine. Okay, that's fine. You guys can do it. Sorry, but this recording that I'm doing here will have the voice recorded. Therefore, I have this extra piece of screen on the top. You guys will see basically two times. This is just from Riverside, but I will have this thing going on here. Okay, since we have a whole lot of content to cover, I'll keep going to questions as I go. I will keep cleaning this every 5 to 10 minutes. So let me see what is going on. We love you, brother. Thanks for whatever you're doing. Thank you so much. Thanks, whoever wrote it. You found your first vulnerability to solve. I don't know which one was it. Maybe sharing screens. Yeah. To be honest, I'm finding every time a new thing that I need to solve, and I'm blessed to be a programmer and be able to solve that. So when you use N8N instead of usual coding with examples, okay, that's good question. I use N8N, to be honest, 90% of the time now. And I use low code, mostly TypeScript, but also Python sometimes, only if it's super complex. And usually the way it goes is like this. Let me quickly explain that on this little diagram here. So usually what I do is, let's say if this is an N8N workflow, it goes a few steps down here like this. Step 1, it calls one node. Step 2 calls another node. And then in this entire workflow, I need to do something outside, and it's so complex. I do an HTTP request node, go here, use some TypeScript or Python, and then from there I have, let's say, another workflow or the same workflow. Let's see if it's another workflow, and then it's a webhook, and then I literally go back and touch that webhook in there. So basically, if you say this is N8N, then this again is N8N, and then this is my low code solution. So it goes from, sorry, low code. This is my code solution. It goes from N8N. It starts from N8N and N8N. Mostly I do N8N. Sometimes I go out, do something outside, and then I go back to N8N world. So it just keeps, maybe it's like 80% N8N, 20% non-N8N. So let's go to the other questions. That was this question. We love you. Thank you. And thank you. So what we are learning today is N8N and VAPI. We'll automate a few workflows with N8N and VAPI. We'll build a voice AI agent that you can use and get that as an inspiration to go on. For inbound VAPI call, I want to make it run on an API request, get information from a data table, remember, okay. That question is a little bit out of the scope of this particular masterclass, but I can, please reach out to me on LinkedIn. I can do a separate video for that use case and put it on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much. I would love if you compare N8N with Make.com while building. That's a good question. I will do that. Actually, let's do that. So for those of you who don't know, Make.com is an alternative to N8N. To be honest, I personally don't know N8N, don't know Make.com so much, but I have used it before. And I have even spoken with with Make.com dudes because when I was running my startup, I needed something like that. In this moment, I even met the sales team or someone I needed it for the orchestration layer, basically. We had this layer, basically. So in this layer, we needed something to take care of all the backend integrations. Make.com was one. Zapier was the first one. Make.com was the second one. In that time, I did a lot of Make.com workflows, but recently, in the past 6 months, I didn't do so much. But what I can tell from like the content that I'm consuming myself, N8N is way more agentic. It's more agent first as compared to Make.com. But nowadays, everybody does agentic workflows, so I'm not able to make a statement on that. I would love if you can compare. That's what we did. Oh, there was something saying we hear nothing. Yeah, the voice agent. Unfortunately, it's only Riverside because Riverside cannot pick voice agent voice. We can hear the voice agent. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Okay, so we're done with the questions. I'll keep coming back to the questions. So for those of you who joined late, we have 60 people online. Please go to this link that I have shared earlier, vibestage.emilsai.com, and share your questions and share your vibes and so on and so forth. There are a lot of new questions I can hear with no issue. Yeah, the voice of the agent is a problem, not the voice of me. So my voice is clear. I double checked that. Tech check. Alrighty, let's go back to our voice AI agent. So we have built a tiny voice AI agent that works, and we have 15 minutes burn on that. Let's go on to N8N. We'll come back and touch tools a lot. That means we'll send some traffic from VAPI to N8N. We'll do a lot of diagramming on our whiteboard, and we'll do a lot of work on N8N. To be honest, this masterclass is like 90% N8N, 10% VAPI, because most of the brain sits in N8N. But I'm happy to also answer VAPI related questions. Oh, indeed, I almost forgot something that I wanted to do with you guys is ask some people to come online and talk to me and talk to the rest of us. Let's do that, but please let's make sure that we do not abuse this. Okay, I'm gonna share a Google Meet with you guys and join this meeting. But please make sure that not everyone joins, because then it's so many people, and if I shout out that please stop talking, I can't hear you, blah blah, it's gonna be a lot of work for me to maintain so many streams at the same time. So those of you who want to join, Enric, if you are listening, please can you join at least, so that we can at least let you talk, or anyone from Voice AI Agent Bootcamp is listening, join, and then I will let you guys in, and then we will take a few questions from there. So let me see who is joining. Daniel is joining. And to give it a little bit more, okay, Osman is joining, Arfan is joining. So let's set up some ground rules. Please make sure that you at least have your camera nicely set up so that people can see you, and when you're not talking, turn off your microphone, and so on and so on, so that we don't have echo and so on. There we go. Enric is joining. I will let a few more people to join so that we have some more vibes shared here, kind of people asking questions. So you guys who have joined, please use this hand so that I can know that somebody has a question, then I can come here. And when you're not talking, please turn off your microphone so that others are not disturbed. All right. And there's a chance that people who are live may not hear your questions, but these questions will be captured by the screen recording. So for playback, please do ask your question here. And also don't hesitate to ask your questions here in VibeStage. Alrighty. So I'm gonna Okay, that's I think enough. We will not go more than 10 people on this. And I will give priority to people who have a video over those who don't have a video when they ask a question here. So please don't. Moonheim, you got priority. If you have a question, you can go because you have a video. There we go. We got another one. Carbon. A lot of people. Sunny, GS, please stop joining. Otherwise, it will be too much work for me to manage 2 streams. I love you all. This is so much happening with love. Otherwise, you guys wouldn't be joining. But so let's please respect the rules. Always turn off your microphone and only turn it on when you have to talk. So I'm gonna go to the other one. And you guys can see me, and let's use this channel just for the questions. I will therefore turn off my microphone here so that you guys don't hear an echo when you're hearing me from the live stream. Alrighty, so let's go to our workflow. So we have still 6 people. I'm not talking too much. So now we're gonna go and do some N8N workflows, okay? Before we start any that's what I was expecting, because okay, now I'm unmute, but we're not supposed to use this Google Meet for listening to me, because then I have to also do the screen sharing, and well, I will actually do the screen sharing. It's okay. Now I basically built 2 live streams. My computer is dying now. Anyways, but you guys can also, those who are on Google Meet can also watch me on YouTube live, so that you can see a little bit higher quality. But also listen to me on YouTube, because there will be a latency of 10 seconds or something for the streaming. Anyway, so we're gonna start now on N8N. And I will explain things from very, very basic, and we'll go and accelerate and do very, very complex things as we go on. So the first thing you see when you open N8N is a list of all the workflows. Well, the very first thing you saw was the organization, or how do they call it, project or something. And then once you open one project, then you see all your workflows here. So the workflows is one tab, credentials is another tab, executions is another tab. Credentials is where you store your credentials, obvious. Execution is where your public workflows are executed and you can see them, and also individually for a given workflow. And then from this menu, you basically can see overview, personal, and blah, blah, blah. And you can create a new workflow from here. So let's create a new workflow. If I create a new workflow, how can I create a workflow that would make sense? Just for this educational purpose, I'm gonna kind of like go through multiple steps as I explain this workflow management thing, and also explain the rest of the menus and everything, and put it around an actual example. So that example will go and teach you guys. So first thing is I need to add the first step. What could be a first step? A first step could be something that triggers this workflow. Imagine a workflow being a piece of program, and when you're running a program, you need to run it, like you need to trigger it. So basically, if it's a program that this VibeStage thing that is streaming my video from my iPhone and has all these things back and forth, I can run it from a terminal. So from here, I ran this timer earlier. This is the Electron.js. If I press Control C here, now you guys, it's running somewhere else. This is which one? Okay, this is the, I'm now confused across so many Electron.js apps running. But anyways, this is exactly the same thing. Like when I say npm start, this is a program, it's an Electron.js app running here and executing this thing. Oh, now I see what was happening, because there were 2 of them running. Okay. kill all electron. Okay, this makes sense now. Why did I see 2 times questions? So now if I run this, you can see that I said npm start, something is starting, and hopefully, oh, this is not the version that I'm looking for. The version that I'm looking for is this one. So if I start it, it should now run and then get access to my camera. So it's the same thing with N8N workflow. Imagine it's this same concept that it runs this software that runs on my desktop. But in this case, it's not that software that runs on the desktop. It's a software that runs on this workflow. So that workflow that is kind of like, we'll see it in a minute, that goes into these animations. These are pieces of code executed on the cloud of N8N. So therefore, you need a trigger point, a point where you can start this workflow. So the start can be a click, can be a chat, can be a bunch of other things. And what I want to show you guys is a chat. A chat can be a trigger. When you chat with this N8N, it can do things for you. N8N workflows or N8N windows come with a kind of a pattern. If I explain it to you, you'll get it. If this is a window, an N8N workflow can be of a type like this, and then there could be something like this in here. Or it could be of a type like this, and then having like a box here, a box in the middle, and a box in here. Usually this is for triggers, and these triggers can have like a setting, and these settings can have like an output. And these settings are usually for so-called nodes. We'll come to nodes in a minute. And then it will have like an input, a setting, and an output, okay? And these nodes are like this. This is a node. If you double click it, it goes and shows up as a window like this, input, setting, output. But the input of one node, processing the output, basically the output of one node, the output of one node can become the input of another node. This is something that you need to keep an eye on, okay? All right, so let's go and see this. This is a window that is so much comparable to this one, a trigger. And here I have checked this chat, when chat message received. Something very interesting here, we'll come back to this in a minute, is make chat publicly available. It's interesting. You can actually get a chat bot like this with N8N. So I put a chat window here. Now I'm going to put something called AI agent. There are 400 or so, 480 or so, almost 500 integrations in AI agent. In N8N. So you can do a whole lot of things with this. One question may arise: should I go with N8N because it has 480 integrations, or with Make.com? I don't know how many they have, or with Zapier, I think 5,000 or so. To be honest, that is not a good apple-to-apple comparison. Why? Because you're then saying that the integration is the only power of N8N. You need to think about a holistic view when you're doing that comparison. Why? Because you can build workflow where you have the 5,000 of Zapier connected with N8N. So have N8N run everything that it can natively. If it cannot, it gets out, sends something to Zapier, gets back in from Zapier, and then goes on with N8N workflow, exactly the way I explained that I do, sometimes doing here some custom. The rest of my workflows go on N8N. Alrighty, so therefore I'm adding just one of the 480 called AI agents. And this AI agent needs to have a model. And now if I click on model, you can see all the available models. I'm going to open OpenAI's ChatGPT 4o Mini. Now I can literally chat with this. You can see that it is running. It is giving me some output. If I go here, I turn this on, you can see it gives me a URL. I can copy this URL and I can go in a, pardon me, if you make this active, and then you can chat with this URL, you get yourself a chat window. And you can literally chat here, and then all of this chat information goes through your workflow. And with just a few clicks, you can literally embed this. So you can also do an embedding, put it on your website, handle authentication, and so on and so forth. So this is really powerful. We're gonna stick to this chat inside this n8n workflow. In a few minutes, we're gonna take it out of the n8n UI and put it on a software that I have installed called Postman, which is basically for testing APIs. What's an API? What's a Postman? We'll get to that in just a minute. I'll do some whiteboarding session of that to you guys. All right. That being said, it's getting warmer in Berlin. I have a fan here, and that's not good. I'm gonna turn it around. Okay. Now let's go to the next step. The next step is we have to do something with this AI agent so that I can explain a few more concepts in n8n. If I say what is the current date, you will be surprised. It will say something. This is a bug in n8n. We can refresh. It just got stuck. If I say, what is the date today? It will run. It will say October 3rd, 2023. Why? Because this is the cutoff date of the LLM. When an LLM is trained, basically they're trained based on a specific data that they get, based on a specific date. So the internet text is crawled from the internet, given to this monster building an LLM engine. That happened on October 3rd, 2023. Now, in order for this to be context aware of what the date is today, we need to open this, and then we need to click on options, and then here we can type in system message. And then make sure that you have this expression selected, and then you can type something. The current date and time is curly brackets, curly brackets. When you type that, you will, what I did was I typed these two curly brackets and I saw this menu. And then in this menu, you can see there an option I have is called now. If I select it or click or press enter, you'll see that I have entered a small little so-called expression, which is basically a JavaScript code, but annotated in a way that n8n is transpiling it or changing it and putting something inside this box when it is rendered or when it is executed. So you can see that this is the input and this is the output, what we see here. And then now in here, it says June 6th, 2053, which is the correct time right now in Berlin. Okay? So now if I save this and press escape button on my keyboard, and if I re-execute this question, you can see that it says June 28th, not October 3rd. So that's one way that you can give AI a little bit of context, basically, new knowledge, context. Now, what I want to do is I want to show you guys something else. If I say my name is Emal, and it says nice to meet you, Emal, and if I say what is my name, it will say I don't know your name. Look at this. I just said my name is Emal. It says nice to meet you, Emal. How can I assist you? What's my name? I don't know your name. Why? Because it doesn't have a memory. There's a very important concept here I would like to explain to you guys. What's happening right now here is we have an n8n workflow running here. This n8n workflow sends a request to ChatGPT. And this request is sent through a so-called HTTP request, okay? And that HTTP request is sent back to this n8n workflow with an HTTP response. And this thing is called stateless. I'm not sure if it's like that or like this or with a space, but it doesn't have a state. An HTTP cycle do not have a state. A request happens, ChatGPT executes something, and then a response happens. So when I say here something like hi, this hi literally from here goes to this node. From here it goes to this ChatGPT model. Basically what happens is from here it goes to this ChatGPT cloud. I'm bad in drawing and I'm drawing with a finger. Imagine that's ChatGPT cloud. And then the ChatGPT cloud comes back here. So basically this is the request part. And this is the response part, okay? I think this tool that I'm building needs a text feature because right now I'm using Demo Pro. It doesn't have a text feature. I need a text feature on my screen, and it's going to be one of the features of this software that I'm building called VibeStage. Anyways, so this entire back and forth, so it goes here, it goes to ChatGPT, and then it comes back from ChatGPT. This entire loop happens in a way that is called stateless. It doesn't store the state. When ChatGPT takes the request, processes it, executes it, it doesn't store anything. And in order for that to work, for n8n workflows to remember you, you need a memory. So you need a memory. I will add a simple memory for now, just to make the point. There are some logistic things right now going on my computer that I need to tackle for the stream and so on, and then we'll come back to this. So the simple memory, only adding simple memory now will know my name. So if I say hi, my name is Emal, I enter, and I say, what is my name? It will remember my name. Your name is Emal. So where did the state happen actually? Where was the statefulness? Is there anyone who wants? Okay, yeah, that's fine. Okay, this stream is fine if it's muted, but the live stream is important. That has to work because you guys can also hear me on live stream. This is only for bringing you guys on stage to ask a question in person. Oh, it's muted on the live stream. Thank you. Thank you for saving the day. Then let me go to Riverside. Okay. This at least is not picking this microphone. That's not nice. It's picking this microphone off the laptop, but it's okay. It should do the job. Okay. No, this voice is working. Anyways, it was just there. It works. Let's go on. Okay, so where does statefulness happen right now? When I added something in n8n called where was it? Here, not that one. The workflow that I had, this one. So what happened here was I give a little bit memory or a little bit state to n8n. So basically this n8n is not just that one block of n8n, it's actually one more step. My browser, Arc. I'm using this browser. So browser sends a request to n8n. This is another HTTP request. When I click this, when I say hi, this is one HTTP request going from my browser to the servers of n8n. And then n8n sends on my behalf another HTTP request here. So that's HTTP request number 1 happening. That's HTTP request number 2 happening. Where? In the backends of n8n. And then once n8n receives back this request, and then it sends it back to my browser. So this is HTTP response again. So from request, response, where this statefulness happens, because this is also stateless. Where the statefulness happens, where do I get that piece of memory embedded, that piece of data? So if I put a small database here, this database happens here on the servers of n8n. So literally, by adding this one, I added a tiny little database on the server of n8n saying that please keep a track of the last 5 messages of my chat S3. So each time that I send from my browser a request to n8n, it checks it. This might have like 1,000 different rows, and only one row might be related to my workflow, and it will pick it from that database and then bring it here, and it will say that, okay, now I know your name is Emil. So that's what's happening. So you get off the shelf a lot of value. You literally get a lot of value with that one little thing. So with that being said, I just realized that when I was showing you guys the start stop, I have killed also the timer screen because I killed all the Electron.js apps just to make a point. So we need to rerun the timer. So we ran for 1 hour, and I promised you guys to give you 20 minutes extra. So we need to run this project for 2 hours and 20 minutes. So that is 140 minutes. And let's start this little dude so we keep an eye on the time. So we have 2 hours and 2 minutes left for this session. All right. I think it's a good time to open the floor for questions. I will first take a question from the online dudes here. Please raise your hand, and I'll give permission to those who have a camera first, and then we go to the next ones. Any questions from the online dudes? We have 10 people here. Do you guys have any question before we move on? No question. Okay, perfect. Then I will go and tackle the questions from the Vibe stage. So let me quickly go there. Holy moly. The Vibe stage that is tackling the questions is not running. It's this one. That was a very bad idea to run. I think now, there we go. So there are so many questions. Okay, let's tackle them one by one. Can you explain something about more advanced memory setup in n8n, MongoDB chat, I think it's a bit off the scope of this masterclass if I have to go and show it, but I can explain it a little bit like in words. What I just showed with the memory, simple memory with 5 messages, is maybe a Redis server and NA10. But the permanent databases are something to store it for forever. That's the only difference, I would say. Um, like Postgres and so on. In the next workshop we have on 26th and 27th, free of cost. It's already, the link is shared to join. We'll be using Postgres. We'll be using Supabase for permanent memory. The use case that we are using is that we're building a voice CRM. You meet someone randomly in a meetup. You connect with them on LinkedIn. We build a front end, a Next.js app that's connected with Supabase, Postgres, using the vector database, using RAG. You store some voice notes. You call Samantha, you say, hey, Samantha, I met John Doe and we spoke about blah, blah, blah. And then this particular Postgres memory will be used in this case, that we will 2-3 months later, when we see John Doe in another meetup, we forgot about his name, John Doe. We go to Samantha. We say that, hey, Samantha, I met this guy 6 months ago in a meetup, and we spoke about blah, blah, blah. You remember what you spoke about. For example, it was an Indian movie, or it was a cultural difference, or whatever it was. Your brain, your memory has that thing on it that will kind of like trigger you, that they say, oh, yeah, I know this guy. We spoke about this Indian movie, but I don't remember his name, or I can't find his LinkedIn profile. You call Samantha, you say that, hey, I just don't remember his name or his LinkedIn. Can you please send me his LinkedIn? And then you see, maybe not a phone call, maybe this web application that we built. And then you see Samantha going to Postgres, based on that fuzzy search, do a retrieval, and then bring you 2-3 LinkedIn profiles that may be one of them. And then you find the person that you're talking about. So that's coming next month. Stay tuned. Can you comment on how you keep up with all the constant changes that happens in AI, especially with the models? Are there any resources? To be honest, I don't. The problem here is very real. Um, I am I'm overloaded with a lot of influx of information. But what I do sometimes is I take a lot of, I think this deserves a very actual N8N workflow, that you suck a lot of information. What I do is like literally copy paste, put them in Notebook LM. It produces a podcast, and I usually, when I drive, I listen to that. So that's one way that I keep myself up to date. Can you explain what is MCP server? Okay, I can explain that. So basically, an MCP server is something that is an API request to the old world, having human beings, browsers communicating with systems. Now MCP is like the same thing like APIs, but for agents to communicate to the outer world, to other services, to human beings, and also to each other. So it's kind of like a protocol. It's model context protocol. It's to the protocol level. It's kind of like a way of communication. And it's usually used to communicate between two agents or other systems. So that's, I hope, answering the question. Okay, last 2 months, somebody perhaps heard me saying that. I have seen a video about that. I didn't know that it's from last 2 months. I thought that's like from a year or so, but I saw a video, a short reel. To be honest, I'm so much obsessed with this. I'm even watching short reels about this. That's good to know. It went out when the starting. Okay, the voice went out. Okay, we tackled that. Okay, I'll double check the YouTube audio right now to see if can someone from the online audience, so since you guys have now access directly to me, volunteer to keep an eye on the audio stream of the YouTube. If it lost anything, then just let me know. Right now, I double checked it is okay. It's going well. But you guys, can someone from the online audience, from the Google Meet audience, help me with keeping an eye on the YouTube? If it went down, then please come here and tell me. Alrighty. So then let's go to the next question. So can you elaborate a bit more when we need to select system and when we need to? Okay, good question. So the question goes around this prompt setting, that when should we use this one and when should we use this one? That's the question. So to be honest, the system setting is the one that's more to your general knowledge of your AI agent. User knowledge is more the knowledge that's coming from this side, from the input part. So hopefully that's the how to get calls from VAPI using local phone number, UAE in my case. Another good question. We are in Germany and we have very similar problem, and we'll cover that in just a minute. I will go and cover this and then come back. I don't have a project. I'm sorry. I think there are a lot of projects. Can we cover how you use outbound calls and your suggestions? To be honest, I don't have um, a lot of content right now for outbound calls, but I used to do a company called microsasbuilders.com. I was the owner of this company. I built these 6 different micro SaaS projects. Um, you can you can find me somewhere down there. And as a part of that, I built supercalls.ai. Here we did a lot of outbound calls, and for that we used Bland AI. But since my current content production is so much inbound, therefore I don't have so much content around outbound calls. So therefore, I'm sorry, this particular use case might be a little bit too much for that outbound call. But you can go and check Bland AI. That should give you a lot of insights. And also, outbound call in VAPI is also available. You can do a lot of outbound. Do you think it's possible to build a good and accurate AI voice agent for cold call outreach? Would it really work, or it is best to use or just incoming calls? Good question. Now, since it's 2 times the same question, let's go a little bit deeper on that. So SuperCalls was one of my Microsoft companies that I built, and it unfortunately never took off. Is something for that purpose. You load all your prospects here, and then with a click of a button, it gives you. To be honest, I'm willing to open source this. All of these 5, 6 companies that I did and didn't work. So you go and upload all the contacts. You put this prompt here, and then it goes. You click a simple send call based on your prompt. This an outbound call goes to 100 people or 200 or 500 people, however you put it on this column. They get engaged with that, and then you get all the transcripts, all the audio recordings, and so on of that going out of that, and then you see all these tags and so on happening. What happened was that when I was doing these outbound based calls, I found out that this is way too complicated. It has a lot of edge cases. I don't want to get involved in that. I want to get involved into this closed environment, which is inbound, and I can influence so much around this. Because when you do outbound, there are a lot of use cases, there are a lot of potential corners or edge cases like that right now the companies like Bland and VAPI are trying to figure out. So it's a totally different niche. I'm not right now in that, but maybe in a couple of months I'll go there. When you need enterprise, since I don't have it. Sorry, I don't know. What's that question? I'll join you. Thank you. Which server do you recommend for self-hosting N8N? Good question. I don't know, but if you are a programmer, you should be able to get any NA10, any virtual machine. I'm usually going with DigitalOcean, but there are some servers, I forgot exactly what was the name of the one that I used for na10.emilsire.com. I will find it out and share it with you guys. The good thing about this server was it had an image, and from an image we could pick it up. And where you can find it, I can show you where you can find that server. If you go to my YouTube channel, please first subscribe, and then I will show you where you can find that. So on 22nd of February, I give a workshop, and there we give exactly this thing. So here, it was a part of this one. It must be somewhere here, this one. So somewhere in this video, you will find, I'm not sure why it's, somewhere in this video, you will find me explaining where, what's the server name? Well, actually, we already found it. Railway. Railway is the name of the server name. Railway. So you can go to railway.com. This is the server that I'm recommending, I'm using, and it is a very nice solution. And you can literally, with a click of a button, you can deploy the entire Postgres, the Kudron, and a lot of images. It has a bunch of images, and you can watch me giving this step-by-step instructions in this video, which was 4 months ago. Alrighty, let me quickly share this with you guys from the online world. Okie dokie. So let's go finish all the questions and then we resume. I remember it's called Cascade System. Don't know what does that mean today. Yes, today's inbound. Yeah, not outbound. That was a technical problem. What memory do you use for complex scenarios? So for complex scenarios, especially for this particular one that I was talking about, we use Postgres vector databases. I'm not sure if I understand this question. Carlos here, can I API NetSapiens server invite server? I don't know. I think you should check questions from the bottom because they are first ones. Oh yeah, you're right. Good point, sorry. Then the sorting needs to, I need to work on the sorting of this little dude. How do you know what nodes in which order you should achieve your goal? Okay, I will explain that in just a minute. Let's then explain the phone numbers. So when you go to VAPI, let's go back to our actual track of education, the tutorial or masterclass that we started. So we have 2 hours left for this session. Okay, so you can get a phone number from here. And these phone numbers are usually, when I create a new phone number, you can see that I can create an American phone number, but I'm based in Germany, and usually for us it's very expensive to go with an American phone number. I do have my Samantha's in an American phone number, but my contract I think is flat rate and I don't pay so much, and I also don't use it so much. But one of my Michael, one of my participants, found this company called Local Phone, and these guys, at least it's the German solution that I'm talking about, provide a phone relay of 5 cents per minute, and I believe the same thing can be available for UAE. So you interface these kind of companies that goes and relays your phone from VAPI from your local phone number to VAPI. Anyways, let's go back to our track now. Any questions from the online dudes? You can just unmute your microphone and ask your question if you have one. All right, so then let's go to the workflows if there is no question coming in here. So what do we have in place? We spoke about n8n AI agent, chat, memory, and quite a bit of cool things. But as the masterclass says, it's a voice AI agent masterclass. We are planning to integrate our voice AI Samantha with a workflow of n8n workflow. Thank you, Marcel, one more time for this little gadget that you give me. So now the idea is that we're going to go to n8n. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to have certain things going on in... If you remember, we spoke about this. n8n is sending an HTTP request to ChatGPT. ChatGPT is responding. But actually, n8n is receiving an HTTP request from our browser and sending back that response. But what if we expand this a little bit further? What if we do this? That the browser sends something, or the phone number, I'll just change it in a minute, sends something to VAPI. VAPI sends something, since all of these arrows are HTTP request, HTTP response, I'm not going to rewrite them. You just get them, you get the point. So how about this? We're going to do a workflow like this. This can be a browser or this can be a phone. But for now, it's going to be the browser because my phone is busy projecting my video. But it's just the phone number that you dial. We're going to now try something like this. That we use VAPI. VAPI calls n8n workflows. And that n8n workflow basically calls ChatGPT on our behalf and does something, and probably does a lot of things because it also calls Gmail. We're going to do a lot of Gmail stuff, and we're going to do a lot of Google Docs stuff, and maybe, if time allowed, a little bit of Google Calendar stuff. So same thing. Same concept of this HTTP request response happening with all of these external services. And these are bidirectional. All right, so we're gonna start from introducing Postman in this diagram. Where does Postman sit? If I put Postman here, what is Postman? Postman is a developer tool. What I want to do is, let's say if this is a bidirectional arrow as well, it basically sends HTTP request response. I am right now in the process of creating this n8n workflow in a way that it's going to end up talking to VAPI. But before putting VAPI here, I want to test it with Postman, kind of like for dev testing. When I'm building my n8n workflows, I want to test it so that I don't need to go and talk to my VAPI the whole time. And I don't need to go and open my browser or my phone the whole time. So I put this on a side. I bring Postman here. Once the Postman development is done, then I will go and remove Postman from the between. Well, I can keep the Postman as well, but basically my entire workflow will off the shelf should work with n8n. That's why we are going to bring Postman now. So you can go to postman.com and download it and use it for your own software, but I already have it installed, so I'm going to open Postman and explain a few features of this, and then we'll go on and change our workflow to be compatible with Postman. So here, if you press this plus button, you can create a new so-called request, HTTP request. You can see it's an untitled HTTP request. I'm gonna change this to a post request, and I need a URL for this. Where do I get this URL? I get this URL from my N8N workflow. So I'm gonna go to my N8N workflow. I'm gonna change this chat window that I have here. I'm gonna remove this. And I'm gonna add something called webhook. And from this little flash sign, I can see this is a trigger. If I click it, you can see now I can do certain things with this. I can change this HTTP method from get to another value called post. What is the difference between get and post? Post is a specific webhook or an API. I'll come and explain what's an API in just a minute, but I'll show you the outcome first, and then we'll go to the next ones. So the post can receive certain data. Which data? You'll see it in Postman in just a minute. And I have this URL. If I click this URL, I click on listening, you can see now this guy is not connected. We'll come to that in just a minute. But I needed a URL. I got the URL here. Now, what else do I need? I need some params. I need the body. I can change the body to raw. I can change it to JSON. These are just some settings that you need to do. Raw, JSON, go to body. These 3 steps. And then in here, I'm going to put a small piece of information, something like hi, or maybe just do it the right way. Message, hello world. And I will come and explain what is this piece of code. Like literally, this entire thing is called JSON, as you can see here. And I will come in a minute and explain what is JSON. Totally for someone who's a non-developer, a vibe coder, or a flowgrammer, you should understand what's JSON. Why? Because whenever you open these things, you will see a lot of JSON here, a lot of JSON here, a lot of things with JSON is going on with N8N workflows. And it's a very good point for you, my fellow flowgrammer. You need to know what is JSON. Anyways, so I'm going to connect this, and it's running. If I hit, I really love the animation of N8N. So I'm going to edit when I have my eyes on it. So I'm going to put this on the right side. Well, that's a better side if I put it this way. So then the arrow can go from right to left. So I'm going to make sure that this guy is running. And I have set up everything here. If I click on the send button, it should send a request to this guy. And then all the workflow execution should work here. And then I should see something back here. If everything is working fine, it should go like that. So there we go. Something went wrong. It says that there is a 404 error. Usually 404 happens when I have a wrong URL selected. The URL is not correct. So I'm gonna quickly make sure that I got the right URL, either the URL or the method. This method needs to match this method. Always keep an eye on that. So I have post, copy, refresh, save, refresh the page, execute the workflow. It's in running mode. Make sure that I have the right, this is the right one. It should just work fine. There we go. So it started executing. It gives you an error here, which is because of this simple memory. Just remove that, save, refresh to make sure that that bug is not there. And now, last time, if I send this, you can see, we'll see the error in just a minute. I think it's the system prompt that we put earlier. We'll figure it out together so that you can see. But what you will see is a few things that happened. Hello World went to this webhook. Something came back here, But keep an eye on this thing, this little thing. This entire execution took 146 milliseconds. I'm coming back to that in just a minute. And also the message we got back is workflow was started, okay? Now let's fix this thing and then we'll come back. So it cannot find the chat input, that's the main trigger, that's the main problem. What we can do is define it here and then we say that you are a helpful assistant, just for now, to make this whole thing work. I'm gonna run it. There we go. So what happened was the following. We took this URL, it pointed us there. As a part of that URL, we took this piece of information, we also sent that through that URL. So this URL also contained that piece of information, hello world. Pardon me. If I open this, you can see by the way, this window can be resized, so you can resize it like this. Let me quickly resize this. So I can show you here. Look what's there. This hello world is actually sitting right there. Like literally this hello world is here, the body message. I'm gonna zoom in so that you can see. There is this same hello world that we send from our query or our postman. But the entire process took way longer than 260 milliseconds. So if I rerun this one more time, you can see it takes way more than 220 milliseconds. Why do I get this much fast response? That's a problem. We'll see that in just a minute. But what happened is this little node, if I open it, you will see in a minute an attribute called respond says respond immediately. So therefore, the moment the workflow hit this webhook, it responded without waiting for this entire execution to finish. Now I don't want that. I want the response to come back from ChatGPT, so I don't see that workflow as it started. What I can do is I change this from immediate to respond to webhook. I'm going to do that and save it, leave this. Now, as a corresponding feature of this webhook, I need another one here called respond to webhook. So I'm going to get that. I will pick respond to webhook. I'll just keep it as it is. And now if I execute the same thing here, and if I run it, what I will see is a different message. Look at that. 974 milliseconds, not 220 milliseconds anymore. Why? Because now the request came from here to here, and it waited for all of these things happening, and then this response came back from this node, which if we double check, it's actually the response that came back from the AI agent. Look, how can I assist you today? And what is that message? That's the message coming from ChatGPT. So what we have done right now with this little tiny workflow, we have built ourselves a scalable API. This is the moment when I saw this happening after 2 years of, or 2.5 years of involved with this. And the first time when I saw that, as a programmer who has been coding for 23 years in a row, nonstop, it blew my mind. I said like, damn, this this technology is insane. I can do this much with just a few clicks. It's insane. So what happened right now is something I would like to explain on this whiteboard. We have, let's say, a system A and a system B, okay? And these two systems wants to talk to each other. How can they do it? By now you already know. An HTTP request and an HTTP response. But what is it called? This is called API, or Application Programming Interface. So a system A, being in this particular use case, Postman, send a request to system B, being that n8n workflow, through a so-called application programming interface, which was all of these configurations. Like this was my API. This was my API address. This was my API payload, the body of my API, the message that I sent to my API. And then under the hood, it sent a lot of information and sent it back to me. So I built myself an API that's scalable. What does scalable mean? Like if I literally publish this, it is published. If I take this production URL, I tap here, take this production URL, and I send this to, let's say, 1 million people, and 1 million people use my API, it will auto scale. So since I'm running on n8n Cloud, it will automatically scale up. That means it will respond to the request of all those 1 million users requesting this API. And I'm someone, not me, but this person who's building it, someone who do not know anything about programming, just got to know what is an API, build a scalable API that does just not any API, but an API that sends requests to ChatGPT and comes back from ChatGPT and then goes back to the other system, the system A and system B. All right. Now that we have got ourselves this API thing running, I'm gonna do a few more iterations of that. I'm gonna just keep it here so that we just get the send button so that we can create a little bit more room here. I'm gonna create some extra things in here so that I can connect it with my Samantha and then it makes sense. Let's start from Google Docs, okay? I want to create a workflow that creates a summary of whatever I sent to this webhook and puts it in a Google Docs. So I'm going to remove this link for now. And I'm going to create a Google Doc. How I do that is by doing the following. So Google Docs, create a document. How do you set it up is very simple. You create new credentials. You basically follow a few steps that I already have covered in a bunch of my videos. I will leave a tutorial on doing that. It's a few steps that you need to do on GCP. And you select your Google Doc or the document that you want to create, the Google Drive you want to create, the folder where you want to put it on, and you put something like, let's say, test n8n workflows 28th June so that I can easily find it. If I execute this, it will create a workflow for me. It just created a workflow, a document for me. Now, if I go to my docs, and I switch to the account that is connected here, I see this Google document created here. This is super cool. Like this much work that I just created a Google document from a workflow by just adding one little node and selecting a few items is at least 100 lines of code, I would say, that happened right off the shelf. Now, let's say if I want to create some data in this Google Docs, I will go and I will say, when you create a Google Doc, this is the workflow as it is done in N8N. You can only create it, but you cannot update unless it doesn't exist. So we need to go and put some content on it. I'm going to go and update the document. For updating a document, you need a Google Doc ID. Okay? Now is the time that we are touching this important concept of input-output and the settings thing. We already planned it when we started here. We said like there are these kind of windows, there are these kinds of windows, input, settings, output. Now let's see why do we need this and how can we make use of this. You saw that I created a Google Doc just in a minute ago through this workflow, this node. And now I want to update and put some content here. How do I do this? I go here in the doc ID. I see that this doc ID, which was created before from, is available for me as an input, which I can literally map it here. How do I map it is make sure that you're selected on schema, drag and drop Google Docs here. You basically map the Google Doc ID. You can also copy paste it here and keep it as a fixed, but we don't want to fix it. We want to make it in a workflow that it keeps running and going for forever. So expression, not fixed, drag and drop. Now in here, there's just this thing called text. I'm gonna just put hello world for now. If I click on execute step and I go back to my Google Docs, you'll see hello world here. This text came from N8N workflow. It used the Google Docs APIs and it happened. That's wonderful. If I connect these two and now bring this little workflow from my Postman and keep this thing executing, and if I run this, what happens is it's gonna go and create a Google Docs for me. But in this Google Docs, you'll see there's another one done from 43 minutes. This was the old one. If I open, again, it's hello world. But I don't want to send hello world. I want to say, for example, bye world, okay? Now, if I go and execute this workflow, and I send, it runs, it executes, it tells me that it's done. It gives me the document ID, basically. It says it's done. But now if I go to my Google Docs, I go and see there is a new one, probably, yeah, the third one. If I open it, oops, it's not by world. It should be by world. Why is it saying hello world? The reason is because I'm not mapping it correctly. If I come here on this Google update Google Doc, you need to keep an eye on this little gray color, update document, create document. In this update document, you will see that I hard coded this. It's a part of this so-called fixed tab, not expression tab, okay? Now I change it to expression, I remove all of that, And I already have that piece of information coming for me, like this by world. If you remember, where was it? It's inside the webhook. I collapse header. I'll see here, by world is here. This by world is just an example, this part. This message is important. When I drag and drop, it's not going to drag and drop by world as a text. It's going to drag and drop this piece of code, which right now has by world in it, but it can be something else when I change it in Postman. So that's system A, system B. In this case, system A is Postman, system B is my workflow. If the system A changes from Postman to Samantha, same concept. We'll go in a minute there. Now I have done that change. I save it. I execute this. And if I execute my Postman one more time, and now I go to my Google Docs, I see something new at 45 minutes, and voila, by world. So what we have seen right now, we have two systems, system A, system B. We're sending an HTTP request from system A to system B, and system B sends a response, an HTTP response to system B. Right now, system A is Postman, system B is N8N workflow, but in a minute, maybe in 10 minutes, that's a catchword, system A will be replaced from Postman to Samantha, to Vapi. It will be our voice sending these messages. In that hello world, by world piece of text will change to a voice transcription that we're going to do, and then it will be saved in Google Docs. So let's go and see that. All right, so now I have a little workflow that works. Before going on, I would like to I'd like to do something. I'd like to take here, change this hello world by world, and do something with my AI agent that it already works in that fashion that I wanted to work, especially for Samantha, when I change the system A to Samantha, and then system B understands that concept. I would like to summarize the document, save it there. So let's do that. If I put my cursor there, and I turn on a dictation tool that I'm running on my system. Hi everyone, my name is Emil Sire. I'm a software engineer. I've been building AI agents for the past 2.5 years. I'm a software engineer with 23 years of experience. I've been a full stack engineer for 17 years. I have a bachelor's degree in computer science, a master's degree in AI. For the past 7 or 8 years, I've been working with clients like Klarna, Siemens, Allianz, and so on. I built 5 companies in the past 17 years, 3 startups, 2 agencies. Since January 2025, I switched from a founder mode to an educator mode. Now I have a YouTube channel and I teach everyone how to build AI agents. My content is around N8N and vibe coding. I would love everyone to spread the word and subscribe to my YouTube channel so that I can produce more of these cool contents. So now I put that much of a message inside this message, okay? And now if I quickly send this, obviously click on this so that it can listen. If I send this, you can see that the document was created. And if I go to Google Docs, you can see that all of that message that I got from there came here in the Google Doc. But I don't like it this way. I like it to go through an AI summarization. I can come here and I can say something here. I can say that, can you please summarize the following content? Create some sections. This is usually an introduction of people who are applying for, this is just introduction of people. So try to put some bio, some experience section, and so on. So I'm just prompting it fast like this so that you get a point about what's happening here. This dictation tool took forever. Oh, didn't work. So, one more time. Can you please summarize the following content? This is a transcript of a person speaking. The summarization should have like a few categories like bio, experience, speciality, and so on. Okay, now in here, you can see if I make it a little bit bigger. I need to change this to expression, collapse this. The message needs to be drag and dropped here. And also you can see the message here, like this. Here is the message of the person, okay? I save it, I execute it, and if I send it, you can see the workflow started running again. Now, if I go to Google Docs, I'll see text better than that, a little bit, something that is tidied up. Oh no, I don't see that. Why? Because in here, I drag and dropped message. Still, the message is coming from this point. Instead, what I want to do is I want this message. If I double click that, you can see here the output. So I said we're going to talk about input and output. This is the time that we talk about the output. So the output right now shows me something like this. A summary and so on. So in order for me to fix this transcript, I don't want to see the transcript, I want to see the summary. I need to go to the workflow and then open the update documents. And then in here, instead of this entire thing, I will drag and drop the output from the AI agent, which is the output here, like this. Okay? And if I see the output, there is some extra information. Now, if I rerun this one more time, you can see it is executing. And the document is created. If I open the document, now you can see it's a summary. Bio name is Emil Sire. The spelling is always wrong in this case. He's a software engineer. His education is a bachelor's degree in computer science, master's degree in AI. Experience is blah, 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 blah. So what we have done is we created a system A, send it to system B. And send it through an AI summarization. But I don't like the way this was done, like all of this so-called markdown, all these stars and things like that is there. It's not formatted properly. We'll do that formatting right after a quick break of answering questions. So somebody said read it from the bottom, so I'm gonna do that this time. What dictation tool are you using? It's called Whisper, Super Whisper. For some good reason, everybody asks me that question all the time. I should keep saying that as a part of the template. So it's called Super Whisper. How can I remove duplicate information from a doc automatically? Good question. It's if the documents are already sitting in your Google Docs, then this would be the workflow. You create a Google Doc, you get it. This is basically the get doc. Then you run it through an AI agent. This is your AI agent workflow. And then you have another node on the other side, this is basically the Git doc. This is the update node, and then you put it back in the Google Doc. I hope that answers the question. What dictation app are you using? Super Whisper. Carlos here again. Hi, Carlos again. NetSapiens, it is a server for voice over IP phone company, or the question is, can I API to SIP-trunk? I don't know. I'm sorry, Carlos. Try to be a little bit more descriptive. I couldn't understand your question one more time. There used to be a company called Canonical AI was used to analyze large volumes of calls and create pathways. I don't know this company. Do you use any services like this? No, I don't know this company. I never used a service like that. Sorry. Alrighty, so let's go back to our. Actually, let's check our. As I say, like I'm so much obsessed with shorts. I watch shorts. That helps me a lot. So that was the short that I was looking at, just to update my knowledge. So let me check if our live stream is running. Yes, sir. Our live stream is running. The voice is okay. Okay. So, how is our online dudes doing? Good. Okay, you guys are mute, but if anyone wants to have a question, please unmute yourself and go ahead. Okie dokie. So let's go back to our workflow. I wish there was a way that I could scroll more items on Arc. Arc user experience is getting a little bit annoying. Now I don't know where was my workflow. Must be this one. No. Yes. I would highly appreciate if we can make it more humane to see your beautiful face. But yeah, let's go and have the question. During this call, you want to update something. Mm, yeah, good question. For online folks, I would like to repeat the question because they don't hear this, the voice of the, or Riverside cannot portray it. I will repeat the question that we just got asked by Corbin, sorry, Corbin Miles. So the question is if we can use patch for this particular workflow. A patch is this thing here. So it's a type of an API request when we do. Unfortunately, for this particular masterclass, I didn't plan to do this, and I have a bunch of more things to work on. So I'm a little bit running behind the schedule. If we were faster at the end of the masterclass, please remind me. I can do that. It's not a big deal. Or I can do a video if you reach out to me on LinkedIn so that I have some task lists on me. I will do a video to do like literally all of these ones and show the differences. Okay, and basically, don't want to sound too salesy. Basically, these type of questions will be resolved in that cohort that I showed in the start of this call. I'm not saying that you should buy, but just saying it. Okay, so we have this workflow in here. Let's see how we can tidy this thing up and see on our Google Docs something that is tidier. than this workflow that we saw here. Okay. I have created an open source project here. I couldn't find any on the internet. I went out and created one myself, vibe coded, obviously. And we'll be using this one, okay? So this is basically an open source project. I'm gonna leave it to you guys here, not there. I'm gonna tidy up my stuff a little bit here so we have less noise going on. I think it's this one. So I'm sorry guys, if you're asking a question in this chat box, it's very hard for me to keep reading it because it's too small and I don't have like a good grasp of this. Please use the vibe stage to ask your questions. I see some people are asking, Daniel, IPA, associate. So please use your questions through vibe stage because then that way I can keep going like here and then I can read them and then delete them and there's a little bit management going on there. All right, so let's go and use this N8N MD2 docs project. It's an open source project, MIT license, so feel free to do things there. And I've been seeing that people are getting some value out of this and there are some open issues. I'm extremely busy, guys. I have 2 kids, 1-year-old and 6 years old, and I have multiple businesses running in Germany, and my life is too busy. I would love to contribute to this project that I kickstarted, but it's already gaining some momentum. If you guys are, it's an humble request, please. I have like now 2 projects that are really cool projects. This one, like this video streaming thing, with multicam features, with these emojis going on and so forth. And the second one, this Markdown. So I'm looking for contributors. Please do reach out to me. You'll be working closely with me, but I can't find time to work on these ones. It's a lot of work. But anyways, let's go on and use this project so that you can know how to put Markdown here so that it looks better than this. It looks bold and so on. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is we need to go in our, we need to do these settings basically. Throw an HTTP request node. Now you're gonna know what's an HTTP request node. So what's happening here is that these 2 nodes that N8N built, so N8N as a company built, they do not support Markdown by default. Now, how would we go with this is the same concept that we spoke earlier. Where's my whiteboard? I think it's here. When I said like I do 80% of my work with N8N, 20% outside N8N. It's exactly that moment. Like when we do an HTTP request, it goes to a TypeScript server, it goes back to my workflow when I need it. Okay? So let's go in and do that. The first step is like delete the workflows that you have, the N8N native Google Docs workflows, or sorry, not workflow, nodes. And then create an HTTP request node, and you need to pass this one. The URL goes like this, md2doc.n8n.emilsire.com. I'm gonna put an HTTP request node, change this to post, paste the URL. Then the authentication needs to go with this particular way. Let me fix the camera source thingy. So the authentication has to go with these settings. I'm gonna take a screenshot, put it here so I can see it in this screen. So the authentication needs to go predefined. Make sure that you pick the right one. This is important. Predefined credential type. Predefined credential type. Okay. The next one is the credential type needs to be Google Docs OAuth 2. There are a lot of them, so better to type it. Google Docs OAuth 2. And after that, select Google Docs that you want to do this thing with. So this one, the Google Docs authentication that you have in place. And then you have still some more parameters to pass. The parameters are body and file name. These are the parameters. You don't need to pass them as JSON, but you can also pass them as parameters here as an option. So like this. So send body, and then in here you can either choose send body or JSON or something else. I'll just use JSON. You can send JSON as like copy paste this entire thing from here and here, or you can also define it like this. So I'm going to define it, output, the value we'll see it in a minute. Just for now, put something, and then the other one is called file name. Make sure that it is the same spelling. This is important because the piece of code that I wrote, the TypeScript, that will look for these kind of file names. So for this one, the value will be something like, I will put these two signs. I'll just put file, and I'll put like file a timestamp. So the file and then some information to the timestamp. Where the output comes from is the output of this AI agent, okay? For that, I need to run the workflow so that I can get the summary of this thing out running. And I will also explain something about pinning an output here. So it's giving me an error. Let's see what's the error. Oh, the respond to webhook not found. It means like, hey dude, you're telling me that I need to respond to a webhook, but I can't find it. Why? Because it's not connected here. So we need to go and connect this, execute it, it's running. I send some information, it goes on and run, and it runs again, and then it responds back here. There we go. It responds back, but this time the response came differently. This is the response coming from my server, from emailsite.com, with the Google Docs link. Now, if we go to our Google Docs, a new Google Doc must have been created, file, some name, and inside this file name, it's ASDF, that hard-coded piece of code that we have added. So we're going to go here. Now we have this piece of information. Now I don't want to keep running this all the time, keep going here, sending all the time. Therefore, there's a beautiful feature in NA10 called pen. So this thing, penning, sorry, not that one, the next one, penning the output. So if I pen this output, and you can see it's now blue, if I execute the workflow, you can see that it executed. I didn't need to click on the send button anymore. So it's a very handy feature. I can keep executing and keep changing things here, and I don't need to go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. So the same data that I penned here will be used each time I click on execute button. So that means I have created multiple files here with ASDF. So all of these files have ASDF, ASDF, ASDF. Now I want to change that. So let's go to my workflow in here. When I'm sending this data to my server, to emailsite.com, to this server basically, to this URL, I need to change something. So in the expression field, I need to send this document. In what this TypeScript does, or this custom node or custom HTTP service, NA10 service does, it goes and it traverses or basically understands this entire markdown, and it generates a Google Doc version of it that is compatible with Google Docs, or a Word version that is compatible. So now if I execute this one more time, it's taking it from the pen version, and it's executing, and it's now sending it it sent it to my server. My server cleaned it up. It's a Firebase Cloud Function. Once it's done, and then it sends it back, and then I have created a new Google Docs. So let's go and see that. There's a new Google Doc, and the Google Doc is formatted. Let me see if VibesStage is running, because I'm not getting vibes from you guys. Yeah, VibesStage is running, guys. Come on, give me some vibes. So that's how you create Google Docs that is running and saving things here. And we have 1 hour and 15 minutes. I believe we are now a little bit behind the schedule, but it's okay. We'll do this. Now, the next step, what we're gonna do is we will go and integrate this Google Docs with a voice interface with Vappy. And I talk to Vappy. I ask Vappy to, oh, I see some cool things going on. Thank you so much, thanks. That's going from the online world. So now we're gonna go and do this. We're gonna, until now, we were using Postman. So we were sending our requests to Postman to N8n. N8n was taking care of this little dude, this Google Docs. So we just finished this part, almost finished this part, because we have added a Google Doc using Postman. What we're gonna do next is we're gonna use Vappy to interface with N8n so that all the data is sent through Vappy. Let's go do that. It's a lot of fun. So this is my whiteboard. I keep it as it is. Let's go and go to Vappy and go to our dashboard. I think we don't need Postman anymore, so I'm going to expand it like this. If you remember in the start of this masterclass, we have created a Samantha, as an assistant called Samantha, and we picked Elena, and I can talk to her like this. It's going good, thank you. So I can talk to her, but she doesn't have yet access to tools. What's a tool? A tool is this piece of software that Samantha can use in order to execute tasks. In this case, it's going to be that workflow that we just created. So let's go and create a tool. I'm going to go and create a tool here. Create a tool, function, create nodes. Let's call it create nodes. The description goes something like this. Use this tool in order to create nodes. What is this? I think the best name for this title is not description, it's tiny prompt or a prompt or something. Because this text is a piece of information that the LLM sitting inside Vappy uses it in order to distinguish which tool to use. Because you can see here, there are so many tools here. How does Samantha knows which tool to use for what purpose is based on this description. And an LLM is using that information in order to distinguish which tool should it use or she use. Okay, based on that information, now I need a server URL. Where's that coming from? That is my N8n workflow webhook. You remember I said we're going to switch system A to system B? Now we're switching this Postman. Same concept, like I'm going to copy this URL from here and go and paste it here. So I'm just swapping the systems. If you want to authenticate it, you can use these secret tokens and so on. I'm going to keep this as an educational content simplified way. So I'm gonna just keep it insecure for now. All right, that's pretty much it. There are some more things in here. We'll cover it as we go because we cover more stuff. And I'm now scared because we're running out of time. I'm gonna save this tool and go to Assistance. And then in Assistance, I go to Samantha, the one that I created recently. And I go to Tools. And I select the tool that I have created. You can see this is a list of all these tools. I can select Create Nodes. Now, one thing you have noticed is that Samantha can have a lot of tools, right? How does Samantha knows which tool to pick is that story that I just told earlier based on that description field. So I'm going to keep it only with create nodes, publish this. I'm going to start talking to Samantha. You guys can't hear it, the online live folks, but it's going good. Thank you. Can you tell me what is the capital city of... Yeah, I just want to know something about programming. Can you tell me something about programming history? Okay, I have a very cool idea about this, and can you please um, listen to me, and then I'll tell you to do something. So my idea is that programming is changing from the old times when we used to punch cards and then put them in a system, to the times when assembly language and C language and higher level languages and Visual Basic and web development, web browsers and React and everything else and Node and cloud and AWS, and now flowgramming, like something that we build software with flow and vibe coding, and it's the trajectory of software development is changing from that time, very old time, I don't know, 1960s or 50s or whatever it was, the start date, to now. A lot changed, and therefore it makes sense that building software has changed. Um, Please take some notes about this, like save it as a notes. There we go. So it saved my idea as notes for thing, but you can see it just blinked for a second. It didn't go here, here, here. That's fine. It's a bug in NA10. Sometimes it gets stuck. I had to refresh the page before clicking and re-executing it because it was in the pin state. But since I was involved already talking to Samantha, and if I would have dubbed it, kind of like for you guys to explain it, Samantha would misunderstand me. So therefore, I continued talking to Samantha. But we captured what we wanted. If I double click this, you will see here a different payload. A payload or a JSON that has a lot of information here. Here, look, sure, I have a brief history of programming. So basically, the entire communication that I was having with Samantha is in this place here. Okay? So what happened right now is Samantha understood to use this tool called Create Nodes based, thank you guys, based on use tool, based on this description, it understood it, and it went to this URL, and therefore this execution happened. Unfortunately, that nice animation didn't show up because of that bug in Nathan. We'll run it in just a minute one more time, and we'll see it. So I'm gonna save, refresh, execute the workflow. While executing, go to Samantha, start talking to Samantha. Good, good. You know what I'm doing right now? I'm giving, yeah, I'm giving a master class, 3 hours nonstop. It turned out to be 3.5 hours because I was just doing some marketing in the first 30 minutes. I have some ideas to kind of like structure these two calls between like kind of like put some more structure into this because it didn't have some good structure. And also I have some idea about how to manage questions better. Some new features of um, Vibe Stage. I need a new feature on Vibe Stage to allow me to do these arrows that are a part of a software that I know called Demo Pro is already doing. So I want to do that natively in Vibe Stage and also add a text feature so that I can write text on the top of my screen. It will help my training material so much. So can you please take some notes about that? So what we have just seen is amazing. Like it ran through it, it understood my consent, it created a document. Let's check that document and if it got it right. So we build ourselves at this moment a Google a seems content was summarized. Okay, there's some bug in there. We'll go and fix it in just a minute. But at least it understood my consent. Sorry, my intent. It took my content, it sent it to this workflow. This workflow did something with it, which is summarizing. Oh, there is a problem here. We're going to fix it in just a minute. And in that summarization was sent to this Google Docs. And that's exactly what an AI agent is. It's talking to you. It has access to your Google Docs. It can save notes on your behalf. All right, so let's see what's the problem here. It seems that the content you wanted. Ah, nice. It's a very common problem. Ah, nice, 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 nice. This is another bug in N8N, a small bug or a missing feature. I love N8N so much, I don't want to call bug. The reason that it could not understand my point is this. First thing first, I'm gonna go and pin this because I don't want to have that conversation again with Samantha, so I don't lose that piece of information. The problem that happened here is that you can see here, I say like, hey, go to JSON da 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 here, but and here I see object object. I don't see the conversation happening. This is probably the only line of code that you need to write in your entire masterclass here. It is json.stringify in small case and stringify and then parentheses open and then parentheses close. And now you see not object object, you see a whole lot of text here, which contains also this information, this communication between us. So if I save it and if I re-execute the workflow, now it creates a new Google Docs. In this Google Docs, hopefully we'll have the note that I spoke with Samantha in a cleanly done way. There we go. So the prompt was, it's an individual bio experience specialty. Therefore, it is going in that direction. So let's change that. Prompt to... these are some notes of Emil Sire. Can you summarize it in a very clean way and also have some bullet points and action points and just to make the point that it's not anymore a CV notes or transcript of notes. Emil Sire, why am I giving this? Not Emil Sire. because this prompt now will understand, and since it's my thing, and it will understand how my name is spelled, and then it will do the spelling correctly. So let's refresh this and re-execute this entire workflow. Now I should get a Google Docs that has all my notes. Well, actually, I'm gonna use this because I use an actual feature request that I'm gonna take care of that. And voila. Summary of Emil Sayre's notes, key points, masterclass duration, 3.5 hours. I spoke about that. Improve structure, question about management, vibe stage, it misunderstood me as vibe stage, that's common hallucination. Action points, plan structure, develop question management strategy, request software feature, da da da. So what I did was I went to a workflow, I went to VAPI. I spoke to an AI agent. AI agent understood my intents, executed an N8N workflow. N8N workflow summarized and sent this summary of markdown to a third party, which is this MD2 MD2 doc open source project that I built a couple of months ago. And I ended up having a Google Docs. This is so cool, especially like having this Samantha VAPI AI agent sitting behind a phone number and having the phone number in my phone and asking Siri to call this phone number. I'm actually doing this, and I'm actually doing it hands-free. So it's amazing. This is amazing. What we can build today with no code, low code is absolutely amazing. So we just finished Google Docs. We went through this particular route and we finished it. Now for the next hour that we have left here, we're gonna do, I'm feeling so good. Thank you. And look at this. This is vibe coding. Like Vibe Stage was born in the as a part of my Vibe Coding 101 crash course. I have built 4 crash courses so far. I'm gonna do a new crash course very soon. The first one was this one, which is basically what you guys learn now. The second one was the Vibe Coding 101 crash course. The third one was this one, which is the Gmail inbox access, which you guys will get to know in just a minute. And then the third one was this one, Perplexity. And maybe we do calendar. And I'm gonna do a new series of something that was a part of this Vibe Coding 101 crash course. It's gonna be something around concepts, like literally web development concepts. 17 years of my experience of being a full stack developer. I'm gonna bring all of that in a classroom style, in maybe 50 or 100 of those concepts explained like this. Explained like in a format like this. So very soon I'm gonna ship an extremely detailed vibe coding web development core concepts on this whiteboard. So stay tuned, something cool is being baked. Alrighty. I should stop being super excited and keep an eye on the time. Oh my god, as they say, when you love something, you can go the extra mile. I love this thing and I am going the extra mile. You can see this, it's live, it's going on. And I haven't left my chair for how many hours, I don't know. We started at 8 o'clock, so 2.5 hours. And I'm still going on for another hour. Let's do it, man, let's do it. Okay, so now let's take care of Gmail a little bit, okay? We're gonna put the check mark there. Hopefully we're gonna put the check mark to Google Calendar. I just realized that I didn't clean up my Gmail. And since it's a live session, I don't want to show an important email to someone. I'm gonna quickly go and stop the screen sharing from Riverside. The screen recording can keep capturing it. I can do a post edit. I'll go to my Gmail inbox. Go to this email. Replit, Crunchbase, Scribble. Yep. One important one. Then I will archive all of them. Alrighty. So I need to be careful not to open the other inbox, but just this inbox. Alrighty. So let's go back to full screen. Thank you guys. Thank you. All of that love is a lot of cool things. Like, the more you guys use VibeStage, the more you're gonna ruin me, the more you're gonna make me stay here, and I will starve to death. By the way, VibeStage also has the funny thing, okay? So when I make a joke, you guys can do this, okay? All right, so this is my inbox. This is my draft folder, and we're gonna keep coming back and forth to this a lot. And this is one workflow that we have just created. Oh, indeed, I said I'm gonna send you guys the JSON of these workflows. I forgot to send you the JSON of this workflow before putting this one, but at least this one, I can download it so that I don't forget to send it. I will upload it somewhere. I will find out how to manage this. Guys, I still have to figure out a lot of things. I don't know how to keep my connections with you guys so that I can send these files with you. I don't know. I have to learn the ropes. Maybe I will open a school.com thing. I don't know what's that, but they say that you can create a community there. Okay, so this is the Gdocs. Let's call it Google Docs workflow. Let's go and create a new one. This is gonna be a Gmail workflow. Okay. So same concepts. Now, since you guys know it, I'm gonna speed up. Therefore, 1 hour, I think it's enough. So I'm gonna create a webhook. I'm gonna make it as a post. I'm gonna change this to respond to webhook. I'm gonna put an AI agent. Okay, what do we want to do first? Let's do a Gmail compose email first. Compose email. I saw questions coming in, so let's see. Yeah, it makes sense. I think we should go first, answer the questions, and then come back to the workflow because it's just the start of it. Okay, send JSON to Enric. Yep, makes sense because most of the participants are from this community, but there were a lot coming from also my LinkedIn crowd. So I will send it to Enric, and Enric, you can circulate it, but I will also do one LinkedIn post where I'll leave a Google Drive link, and then you guys can see it from there. Can I read Word docs? Yes, you can read Word docs. I think you mean Google Docs, right? By Word docs, you mean Google Docs. It's the Google Docs Git document. So Git document is basically reading it. So next question. Can you format Google Doc in N8N workflow in a specific layout like a brochure? That is a question that I think it's a very fundamental question that needs to be answered so that you understand what is N8N. Let me then take you there. Okay. The question is, can I format Google Docs in N8N as a brochure? So yes, you can, but not in Google Docs. You don't take it and then put it back in Google Docs. So the way you want to do, let's say you want to build a workflow that does the following things. It gets a doc in that Git doc. So the start of your workflow is get a doc. The end of your workflow is a brochure.pdf that you can send it to printing. The idea won't be that you take it from Google Doc, put it back to Google Doc. That's not a good solution. Yes, this is possible in N8N. I'm gonna explain it in very abstract terms so that you can get the idea, and then you go on and build it yourself. There might be one AI agent or multiple AI agents in between. The rectangular shape shows the AI agent. These other nodes shows something like a different one. Which one, I don't know. We need to talk about that. There will be a workflow that you can build like this. Maybe Nate, the YouTuber, the YouTuber, Nate, knows these services because he produces a lot of these services. My content is more producing core educational content, not the actual services. You need to find these services, these X and Y services, that you know how to generate PDF. You know how to generate images, generate assets, generate I don't know, abstract designs to put it on, layer it on the top of one another. This AI agent will do your content game for you, because I believe this Google Doc is gonna be your input replacement. It's not a form, it's Google Doc. You describe things, you trigger it through this workflow. An AI agent will generate the content. This service X and Y, let's say service X is an N8N native node that allows you to generate images, or it's an HTTP request that goes to an image generator, one of the LLMs. I don't know which one is good. I used ChatGPT's image generator. It's awesome. Generates your assets, and then it basically puts them together, and then you need to find out which exactly service will generate PDFs for you. So I hope that explains it. I went too detail on that. Sorry. Can you format Google Docs in N8N workflow in a specific layout like a brochure? I just explained that. What's the oh, I just deleted a question that I didn't answer. Sorry, my friend. You need to ask that question again. I don't have an undo or a feature of undo here. I should actually do not delete the. It's another request, another feature request. That's. I'm gonna add another feature where I see the deleted question somewhere. Okay, sometimes you need to go through a complicated process in Google Cloud to activate the Drive API. Can I just set as a trigger get document in N8N Google Docs sheet to avoid all the Google Cloud activation process? Not sure if you understand. No, I understand your question. Your question is around Google Docs API, enable API thing, the GCP process. It's a very detailed. I understand it's a painful multiple steps to enable the Google Docs API. It's unavoidable because on your behalf, Google Docs N8N needs to send an API to Google Docs. You need to go through that painful experience at least once. So what's the difference between using an actual node for creating a Google Doc with the output of agent, or using a tool instead of the agent? I think you're referring to the HTTP request that I used. The difference was because my tool can do the markdown formatting, and the native one cannot do the native formatting. All right, so I just realized there is another small feature that I need to build for VibeStage, which is like this needs to have the top Z index. So Carlos here again. Hi, Carlos again. With N8, can I dial out using SIP trunk? I have my own SIP trunk. I'm sorry, that's a voice over IP. That sounds like a voice over IP concept that I don't know. I need to Google myself to understand it. I don't understand what's that. Reach out to me on LinkedIn. I would love to help and see if I can find it myself. Especially, I will find it out and help you because I don't know it myself and I will learn a lot from that personally. Okay, I keep going out of this Scali draw. This is my Scali draw, so let's go there. There was one more question. I'll take the questions later on once I finish the Gmail inbox thingy. So we have now the compose email feature. I'm gonna go to compose email. This guy will do something. This will have an OpenAI feature. Okay, I think that's enough. I'm gonna quickly put a response. From there onwards, we will take it to the next level, okay? As usual, we'll start our journey from Postman, and then we'll go in and do it to the next one. Indeed, I will also share with you guys something from Postman called curl. Curl. I'll share this entire thing. I'll just keep it here. So how does it work? So when you add a new, when you import, you can paste curl here, and then you paste it, immediately you get all the settings. So this is important for you guys. I'll send this also to Enric. Okay? So let's go here, get our Postman ready. Postman will send, let's create it here. Postman will send a post request to this URL. We already covered all these steps previously. And since we're gonna go back and forth a lot with Postman, so I'm gonna just keep it on that 20% of this part. And in the body, we're gonna send raw JSON. I'm gonna just keep here some information that says something about like message hello. Okay, let's test this out. If it works, then we go to the next step. There is something wrong. It cannot understand the chat input. That's absolutely fine. Define below you're a helpful AI agent. Save, run it again. Execute. There we go. We executed it. How can I assist you? That means not only how can I assist you, keep an eye on the number of milliseconds. If it was like 200 milliseconds, this means that the entire workflow didn't work as we intended. Okay, now what I want is, I want to send some instructions in this message. I want to send an instruction something like this. Can you please compose an email to John Doe and mention that I am 20 minutes late for the meeting because I'm stuck in a traffic rush. Sorry about that. Catch you guys later. So that's it. Now, the use case of this is that when I send this, let's actually send this. I want to use this when I'm driving. When I'm driving, I want to talk to Samantha. My hands are on the wheel. I say, hey Siri, call Samantha. Samantha is waking up. Samantha understands my intent. It composes a LinkedIn for me, an email for me, leaves it as the draft. And in the next red light, I quickly go to my phone, which I should not be doing, but it's an urgent email. And then I literally go to my Gmail and app inside my phone. I open it, I go to the drafts, I open it, I put John Doe in the to, and then I send it over. Or maybe fix something. This is a very good way of sending emails with AI. The current state of the art of AI is not very good to send AI, like reliably send emails through AI. Drafting and sending is a good way. It's a viable way, in my opinion. But you can also send emails, send Slack messages, send, like, actually execute it, not draft it and send it over. So this user experience that I'm going to show you is only for composing a draft email. Alrighty, so let's go to the next step. We're gonna draft an email. So first thing first, let's pen this because we already have some information we're gonna work on, and let's maximize this so we don't need Postman so much. Now, what I want to do is I want to add some structure to this email composing thing. How do I do that? There is a feature in Anything AI Agent node called require specific output format. If I turn this on, and if I get out of here, you will see that I now have output parser as an input box here. So this output parser has multiple options. You can see here. I'm going to pick structured output parser because I need a specific structure. That specific structure can be a subject of the email, something like running late for my meeting, and can be body of the email. And the body of the email can be, hi John, I'm sorry to inform you that I will be running 10 minutes late in the meeting because I am stuck in a traffic rush. Okay? Sincerely, Emil Sar. Just leave it as it is. It's just an example, and based on that example, this AI agent will generate an output that we are going to use in a minute to send it to Gmail. So what would be the prompt here? The prompt would be, can you compose a draft email for the following content? And I'm going to use expression. I'm going to pull this message that came from the API for me. Okay? Now, if I go and execute this thing, since it's penned, you can see it's penned, it already executed the whole workflow. And I can see here, the output is now in a JSON format that is having output, subject, body. So it's pretty much cleanly done. Okay? It's the output that we see here, subject, body, was enforced because of this toggle button, and was the LLM kind of like learned it from this sample example, the sample that we provided. And therefore, the output here was like, thank you. Okay, this was the pen. This was a pen response, so therefore the response didn't go there. But the response here was basically this entire thing. We can quickly run it one more time and see the actual full-fledged effect by ourselves in here. So there we go. That is the common error. Let's refresh. Run. There we go. It's running. And the response that we get in our Postman is that exact response that came from here with all the information that we need. Okay? Now, we need to create an email from this. So that's the point we need to do now. Oops. So I'm going to break this link, put this here, and start creating an email. a Gmail node, and then create a draft node. When I create a draft, I need to select my account. How you create an account is like that, sign in. But I already have it, so I'm going to keep using that and create. The subject is coming from this subject. The body is coming from this body. You see why did I create this structured output? Was so that I can easily map it like this. Easily map it like this. Now if I save this, connect it back here, keep it like that there, and now execute the workflow one more time. Obviously after refreshing that bug that we know about in A10. So now what we're gonna do is send, and if everything worked fine, I should see that email in the draft folder here. Refresh. Voila. 1050, 1050. If I open it, you can see the email to John Doe. It says your name. We're going to go and fix it in just a minute. Exactly the thing that I mentioned on the microphone. And we're going to do this through Samantha in just a minute. Because we know one thing, that there is system A, system B, and we can replace them. So we're going to do this. We're going to replace system A, system B from Postman to VAPI, and this should just work off the shelf. Okay. First thing first, let's fix this. How do we do it is in the system prompt. I go to the system prompt, I add a system prompt in here. Here or here, it doesn't matter. Like, LLMs are now way more intelligent. So here I will add you are the assistant. Take these notes. You are the assistant of Emil Sire. The current data time is, make it expression. We already spoke about this before. Now, sign off all Emil's emails with sincerely, Emil Sire. Maybe I can do this with second line so that it knows that I'm going to do it with second line. So now, since I have this thing, I'm going to quickly pen it and run it one more time. And go to my drafts, refresh the page. And there is another one at 52. There we go. We got our signature thing running. So the LLM basically knows how to run this LLM thingy for us. So, sorry, one more time. So the LLM knows how to sign off the email for us because we left that system message in the prompt of AI agent. All right, so that's the draft of Gmail. Let's connect this to, we're running out of time. Let's connect this to VAPI. So basically we're switching the system A, system B from Postman to VAPI. And then, if time allowed, let's see what we have. In Gmail, I want to show you guys also reading email, but since my email inbox is a little bit unprepared, maybe we'll skip through that. Well, let's go with the vibes. We are vibe coders, so we'll just go with the vibes. All right. Now our plan is to switch Postman with VAPI. Before doing that, I think since it's a breakpoint, I would like to take questions. Before even taking questions, I would like to check a few tech checks. If this is Vappy, their logos are so similar. This is running fine, 2 hours 55 minutes, that's fine. Let me go to the live session and make sure that the live session is working fine. Yeah, I can hear it, it's working fine. And let me go to now. Yep, this is also working fine. Okay, now the next step for us is Vappy. So we're going to go to Vappy and we're going to create another tool. In this tool is going to be compose an email. All right, super simple. Compose email. Sorry, wrong key. Can you use this tool in order to compose an email? You use this tool in order to compose an email. And what's the URL for this? We know it by heart now. It's going to be the workflow that we have just created for composing an email. This URL. There's a small setup we can do here, which is, well, I'm going to do this so that you get some more output from Vappy. You can send parameters when you're sending an API request to n8n. What's a parameter? A parameter is something like a subject, for example. And then again, this is an instruction. This UX is very bad. Description and also optional. That's not a good idea. I would have made this mandatory and also rewrite this to kind of like mini prompt for the LLM to determine from the conversation of Vappy that, hey, this is a parameter of subject and you need to take from this entire conversation that Samantha is having with Amal and take the text of subject and then inject it inside this text. So therefore the messaging here is not nice. So I'm going to write this. The subject of the email very bad prompt engineer, I think. The subject of the email that Amal is having with Samantha or something. That's enough. That's enough, I think. So I'm gonna keep this required so that means this means that if Samantha is talking to me and doesn't have a subject, she's gonna ask me what's the subject of this email. So apply. I'm gonna add one more required field, which is gonna be the body. So body, the body of the email. Apply. So I created a compose email tool with some description and with some parameters, and it's gonna send it to this URL. I'm gonna save it, go to my assistant called Samantha, and go to tools and select one more tool to it called compose email. Now you can see that my AI agent can have create notes, my AI agent can have compose emails. And this is why I requested you guys earlier that I need some volunteers to help me with getting Samantha's brain, like brain means like these tools that we create, these workflows that we create, ready for production, right now it kind of started as a movement, and I'm going to take you guys to a open source contribution forum. We already have 10 people interested. Oops, I just shared. Okay, I'm sorry about that. I'm gonna clean it up later, but I just shared some emails. Sorry. I'm gonna share with you, since I already did that, I'm gonna share this link with you guys. I'm sorry for everyone. You guys are vulnerable for like another 20 minutes until I go in and fade it out, but you will be out of the system soon. So I'm gonna send this to this list here. You can apply to become a contributor. That means it's gonna be a very close group, a group who is gonna work with me directly to build these tools for Samantha. That means these tools are basically these workflows. So we'll build a lot of workflow, not educational workflows, but production grade workflow. They're going to go on an MIT license or some sort of license on GitHub so that everyone can have a Samantha in the world. Alrighty, so what's next? So we got ourselves a VAPI tool that has a compose feature. In it will call, or she will call, this particular endpoint when I talk to it, and it's going to compose an email for me. So let's see if Samantha can do that. Let me check if I published. Let's publish it first. So let me quickly make sure that it was published, and then the call happens. It's going good. Can you please compose an email to John Doe and mention that I'm gonna be not joining the meeting today because I got sick. I'm sorry about that. Okay. The same error that has happened throughout the history of humankind. Refresh page before you run your executions when you're demoing, otherwise it's gonna get stuck there. So, one more time. Good. Can you compose an email to John Doe and mention that? Can you please compose an email? Please listen to me. Don't talk over me. No, you don't have to apologize. Um, so can you please compose an email to John Doe and mention that I cannot attend the meeting because I'm extremely sick? There we go. So what Samantha did was basically compose an email. I'm not sure if it could compose the email. No, it actually did. Let's see, because there is one small setting we need to do. Let's quickly double check if it could compose the email. Where was my Gmail? Did I close it? No, here. There we go. Come on, open it. Probably the content of the email is not correct because our conversation was not JSON stringified, perhaps. Yeah, as I anticipated, it cannot. So it cannot understand John Doe. It cannot understand the context of the email. It understands the context of the fact that she needs to do this. But let's find out what is the reason. And the reason is probably this one. Exactly, the same one. You see? Same old school reason of stringifying things. And I will explain now, since it happened twice, I'm gonna explain what is this stringify. Okay, I'm gonna take this piece of line of code and come here and try to explain it. So what is this? It's basically a small piece of JavaScript, nothing else. These two curly brackets are, curly braces, brackets are from n8n. It's basically a way to tell n8n that, hey, I'm going to write some code. This is an object called JSON in JavaScript. It's a native object. This is a function. A function basically has an opening parenthesis and a closing parenthesis. And what you see basically here is the input of a function. And that function does something. What it does, it takes a JSON. What's a JSON? A JSON is a string of like this. As I said, if time allowed, I will explain how JSONs are read. We don't have so much time because we have a few. Time to do some voting. We'll do some voting. If we did get more votes to get JSON done, we'll do JSON, not the calendar. So I'll come to the voting in a minute. Well, since it's fresh, please vote with your Vibe stage. This for JSON and this for Google Calendar. So wait for a little bit and see whether we go with JSON explanation or Google Calendar. This for JSON, this for Google Calendar. I'm waiting for a little bit to see how many of which I get. There will be a latency, so therefore I'll get it a little bit later. So I'm gonna go on. So now the JSON. Okay, JSON. Okay. Okay, calendar. Okay, JSON it is then. Okay, then basically this entire thing. So this piece of code. Got it. JSON it is then. So this piece of code is a JSON object. It goes as a JSON object. And what is JSON object, you guys will know in a minute because JSON won the race. It goes inside this, and then what comes back is a string. What's a string? A string is basically a piece of text here. But this piece of text is not any piece of text, it is a JSON. So that's all that this function does. And I believe this can be a part of this node or anywhere in the node of n8n. Whenever that you see that there is a JSON set here, stringify it. There might be a very good reason that they're not doing it internally. It's not the first time that I have noticed it. Probably I'm not the first person who has noticed it. Probably a lot of people noticed it, and probably it's in the radar of the product manager responsible for the AI agent node or other nodes. I think it's also something that happens in other nodes. Anyways, so that being said, let me quickly pin this and save it and execute this. And there we go. Now if I go to my drafts, this is the old draft, refresh 0707. Now it should say something about sickness. Yes, sir, extremely sick. John Doe. So it's now getting the context properly. All right, with that being said, we have 22 minutes left for this call. I'm going to spend that 22 minutes more to explain concepts, especially JSON, and take the questions. So let's take the questions first and then go to JSON. Calendar, I'm not sure what, did I do a spelling mistake? Somebody? Oh, it's a vote. Go to calendar. Okay. How do you connect VAPI to n8n? We just covered that. The way you connect it is through a webhook. So you get the webhook here, you go to VAPI, and then you create a tool. And then from the tool, you basically paste the server URL here. In this particular, we created two tools basically for VAPI. So for Samantha now can create a node and can do a compose email. Actually, I can demo it. So it should work. This is it's going good, but To be honest, I am really, really feeling sick. No, it's just I'm super sick. I have fever. Can you please compose an email to Jane Doe and mention that today I cannot come to the office? Thank you, Samantha. I have you, so I don't need to worry about anything else. And I, yeah, thank you. So, thank you. And you know what? I have an idea. The idea is that Um, I'm gonna build. I'm gonna record a very detailed um, vibe coding 101 course. Can you please save this idea to Google Docs? Can you please try it again? So, so So we just download both generating emails and generating notes using Vapi. So that's how you connect Vapi. Um, let's go to the questions one more time. Is there a reason why you're using Vapi instead of other platforms? I think Vapi. I like the story of these founders. They're sophisticated. They have everything. To be honest, it's just a matter of time before I get to other providers and produce more content to kind of like use other providers, like 11 Labs, for example. 11 Labs is going to be our go-to for the um, next workshop we have, uh, because we're going to build it here, like you can see 11 Labs. Um, so it's just a matter of time. It's nothing that I would like to do or not do. And this is the link to join the next workshop where we're going to build a um, mini voice CRM. Uh, it's going to go wild. Already 300 people registered, and I believe we have a month for that. 26th and 27th, 2 days of workshop like this, online, 100% online. And I believe that it's going to be wild. This number will hit 500, 600 maybe. And I just announced it literally on 21st of June, so 7 days ago. In 7 days, we got 300 people registered. It's going to be a big one. This one is happening in person in hybrid. I will also live stream it at 6 p.m. CEST on my channel. It's a part two of what we are going to do, um, what we have done on 11th of June. You can read the part two links from here. You can read more content on that, and all the part one is recorded, so I highly recommend you watch part one so that you can follow part two properly. Anyways, let's go to the next questions. Retail, I know retail never tried it, but I'll cover them as when the time comes. Is there a reason why you're using Vapi instead of other platforms? I answered that. Where's the subject of the email? You did sit in Vapi as required, but it didn't pass through. I thought it passed through. Let me quickly double check. This is the personal. I hope I pinned it. No, I didn't pin it. Well, hopefully it will pass through, but let's double check this actually. If it's not doing this, then I can explain why it's not doing it. So VAPI talk. Good. Can you please compose an email to John Doe and mention that we can't find any more fuel in the world, so therefore I'm not coming to the office today. So here, the subject was passed from VAPI, fuel shortage, working from home. Not sure where that question came from. Maybe in an instance it was not working. How do you connect VAPI? We answered that. Uh, what are the hotkeys you are using for zooming, drawing, starting and stopping Super Whisper and others, so it doesn't conflict with other hotkeys? Sorry for the off-topic question. It's okay. I think I'm gonna do a video about this. It's a very very common question. Like, I have been asked 1,000 times in my all presentations, what are the hotkeys? So I'm gonna quickly share it. So Command Shift F is toggling this thing. Command Shift D is toggling it between these things. This is a software that I built myself as a part of my Vibecoin crash course. Um, and I'm willing to open source. Probably I'll open source this very soon. It is the first version of this is open source, but this is Vibe Stage 2.0 with a lot of other things. And all these emojis that you see that you guys are sending me is also Vibe Stage. So this thing with the remote control in your hand, and whatever question you ask, and then I press this, this question comes to me, and then I delete it, is happening with Vibe Stage. Probably Vibe Stage will also have this timer as an internal piece of its work. And for the drawing, I'm using a third-party software called Demo Draw. These drawings are happening from here with some like drawing like this, but this will also become as a part of Vibe Stage 2.0. And I need a feature to kind of like type on the screen. That would be making my life much easier. And what was the other question? Yeah, the short key of Command Shift R is turning on this thing. You can set it up yourself in the settings. Sorry guys, it was off topic, but I'm not leaving anyone behind, any question behind. Nope, I was asking the difference between agent tools for Google Docs and Google Doc Node itself. I think this is related to the question at agent tool for Google Docs. If you want to ask this question, please join the Google Docs, Google Meet. You can explain it a little bit in more detail. And also, I think Carlos had some question. So those of you who want to join, because now I think we have not so many people left on the live session. We started with 60 people. I believe now we have 30 people. So we have 30 warriors still in the room. And since it was a very long session, how long is it now? It has been running for 3 hours 18 minutes, and still we have like some 12 minutes left. I'm gonna stay a little bit long as it takes for the JSON subject, because I promised that I will explain JSON, and also if any questions are coming. So let's get to JSON. Okay. So as an N8N developer, as an N8N programmer, you guys will see a lot of JSON going as an input, going as an output, going as an input, going as an output. You need to know what is JSON and how to read JSON. Thank you, guys. So we're gonna start from very basics. There are a few things in that input-output of N8N. One is called a string, one is called an object. A string can be like anything. An object can be, and one is called an array, actually. An array can be a square brackets. As square brackets, this can contain strings, but a set of strings. So you can have a set of strings like this. And the way you separate each item of the set is with a comma. Okay? Now I have a set of strings. That means I have an array of strings. That's a string. That's an array of a string. Now an object can have two things. It can have a key. I'll come and explain what's a key in just a minute. And that key can have a value. So this key, the synonyms of that can go as a property, key, name, I don't know what else. There are a lot of synonyms going on there. And then the value could be anything. So the key can be name. The value can be John, or maybe it can be first name and then John. And then the same concept of this comma applies here. A comma, and then the next piece of information comes. And then this can be last name, Doe. And then it goes on and on. So that's the gist of an object. Let me just keep an eye on the time to see how long. So we have 11 minutes left, and I think that's enough time for capturing the rest of the information. Now, the next thing that will happen from here is an object can have nested objects, can have multiple pieces of objects. What do I mean by that? In that multiple nested objects can be of an array and can be of another object. These two possibilities can be there. Now, let's say if I want to capture favorite movies of John Doe, then this can be like this. For example, her 2013, comma, I don't know, transcendence. I don't know how to spell transcendence. Yep, that's the correct spelling. Transcendence, and I don't know, whatever. But this is a string. You see it's inside these double quotation marks. And this does not mean anything. So that means if I capture my favorite movies for John Doe, this one will not work very, very well. Why? Because in my workflows, in my N8N workflows, I will not be able to loop through all the favorite movies of John Doe. The best approach is that I turn this into an array of strings like this. Same concept as we spoke already here. If you see, like literally this entire thing is just like this little thing. It can be a string, the value can be a string, or can be an array. That's nice. Now, how about one more thing? I can get John Doe's favorite places. In this time, it's not an array, it's an object. So that means I can capture more information about John Doe's favorite places. Because I know the format of an object should or must have two things, like that string and that string. That is called a key, and that key should have a value. And that value can be of different types, an object, a string, or another array. So now I'm going here and I'm going to say John Doe's, I want to capture John Doe's favorite places having the following attributes. Country, for example, Germany, and city, Berlin. Maybe one more information, last visited. June 2025. Or maybe June 2021. Just for the sake of the example. And if you see this, it says plural, favorite places. I want to capture John Doe's all favorite places, and I want to capture it rich like this. Which country, which city, when was the last visited? Maybe I want to make a workflow so that I can give recommendations to John Doe. This is the time when it gets a little bit complicated. You see, it starts from here, that object of places, it starts from here, stops here. I can also do arrays, right? I can also do arrays. So now I'm doing an array of an object. Same thing as here, it was a string, comma, string, comma, string, comma, string, comma, string. Now I have created an array. I started an array. I can do it also like this so that it's a little bit tidier. And I have created one piece of object here. I can create another piece of object by, again, same principle. A comma needs to separate them. Same way like here. So it's an array of objects, and each object is separated with commas like that. Now I have one object, I have two objects. Country, USA, city, I don't know, city. Fremont, last visited May 2023, for example. So now I have favorite movies, an array of strings, comma, string, comma, string. I have a favorite places, an array starting there, stopping there, of objects with a comma separated. Now, with this kind of a JSON, I would like to take you guys to a website, JSON Validator Online. You can play around with that, and then you put it here in this website, and you validate if you got your JSON correctly. You can see that I got my JSON correctly. Otherwise, if you did any mistakes, for example, you forgot a comma here, and if you validate it, it's going to say it's invalidate, and then it's here, so that you can learn how to write JSON objects. And that leaves us 10 minutes of Q&A. So that was the JSON 101. There's not much into it. Now, if we go to a workflow where we had a lot of JSON, you will end up knowing it way more better. Where's my workflow? A little bit complex workflow here. So this is a JSON now. I'm gonna copy it from here and go to my cursor so that we can see a little bit cleaner version of this. Here. So you can see it's an array, same concept, it's just an array. It starts as an object, same concept, it's just one big object. It has one key, comma, value. What's the value of this? If I collapse this, the value of this is an object. Okay? Let's find a key which has a value of string here. key type value string, but this one is object. Inside that, you can see there's a key of value, comma, key value, key value, key value. It just keeps going on until the end. So the entire header is a key value pair. Done. Params is an empty object. Query is an empty object. And so on and so forth. This is a different type. It's called a number. This is not a good JavaScript object. Sorry, it's not a valid JSON. JSONs can only be inside this string. It's the serialization and deserialization. It's getting too complicated. JSONs can have number. Consider it this way. JSON can have number, but an actual valid JSON cannot have number. It has to be encapsulated with strings. Anyways, let's go to the questions. Do you recommend I learn about JavaScript if I am building a lot of workflows in A10, or can I just use AI to do it for me? Absolutely, I recommend you learn JavaScript, but it's a different JavaScript, I believe. It's a JavaScript for anything. It's a JavaScript for vibe coders. And I have been writing JavaScript for 17 years in a row, nonstop. And I'm planning to generate a JavaScript course for N8N developers, for vibe coders. So that should come anytime soon. And especially when you are one of my cohort members, you should get early access to these courses. I'm not sure how to monetize these courses, so it's coming. All right, so let's go to the last questions and then we are done with our session. Would you recommend learning JavaScript? Same question. Yes, I do recommend learning it, but not in the old school way, in the new way, like concepts first, syntax and execution and how to do it second, because vibe coding is a new way to do it. Okie dokie. So with that, this masterclass is almost finished. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for hanging there. I do this out of passion. I have a humble request. If you got any value from this, please go ahead on LinkedIn. You can find me on LinkedIn from emilsire.com. You can find my LinkedIn, my YouTube. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. This is my website, emilsire.com. Subscribe to my YouTube channel from this link. Connect with me on LinkedIn from this link. And please join. Thank you for all the love. Join in the next workshop that's happening for 2 days from here. That's a lot of love. Thank you so much. And also, I left a lot of links inside this chat. You guys can get it from there. This was an intensive multiple hours. Still 29 people watching. Thank you so much. That's a lot of people spending their precious 3.5 hours nonstop. I didn't leave this chair. It's my first time standing up from this chair, so that you guys can know that I can I can walk. Well, I have a lot of videos that I stand. This was nonstop 3.5 hours of masterclass about N8N and about crash course on starting your journey with voice AI agents. There's a lot into this. I'm building these two beautiful pieces of software, Samantha and this Vibe Stage. I'm looking contributors for both of them, and I have just started my my journey into paid classrooms. For $200, you can spend an entire month with me to learn how to do vibe coding and how to run N8N workflows. I'm looking forward to those of you who are starting. The first batch starts on 5th of July. So I'm looking forward to those of you who are going to start on 5th of July. If you're not selected in this cohort, it's okay. I will do one cohort every first Saturday of the month. And each cohort will only have like 10 people. this month there was a lot of demand, and since there is a FOMO, I would like to kind of like maybe make an exception that this month I will start 2 cohorts. But if I couldn't find time to make this cohort, then that's also fine. Please don't be sad, because I will the next month put you guys in the next cohort so that I can manage my time. I have multiple businesses running. I'm a father of 2, and I cannot do a lot of cohorts at the same time. With that being said, thank you so much. Have a nice evening, day, and have a nice afternoon wherever you joined in from. It was an intensive 3.5 hours of nonstop N8N workflow, automation, and voice AI agents. See you guys in the next session. With that, I want to say bye bye.